Hey, hey, hey! Happy hump day, everybody. How we doing today? I hope you're not cold like I am. It's snowing and cold here again. Welcome back, everybody. It is Wednesday, March 20th, 2024, and we're back. Today, guys, we're going to have an open discussion. We've seen multiple interviews in the Sebastian Roderick case, and multiple people. Today, we're going to talk about that. We're going to break some of that down. I've had a lot of people come at me and say, hey, did you see this? Did you hear that? Another amazing channel out there, Duchess. She put out a video last night. She was on point with a lot of things, guys. They all were. So we're going to have our own little open discussion today about this because I got questions. I know a lot of other people have questions. Some of us could have some answers. Some of us could not. We're just going to talk about it, folks. Plus, of course, we have updates on some of the other cases. Let's get this show on the road. As always, guys, one moment here. Thank you again for tuning in. Here we go. Yo. What's up, everybody? Welcome back, guys. I hope you're having a great middle of the week hump day. It's almost over, guys. A couple more days, and it's the weekend again. So thank you guys again for joining me. As we talk about some of this difficult stuff, but so many people have so many questions, so many issues with a lot of things going on after. Again, guys, we've seen multiple interviews with Christopher and interviews with Katie and Seth. And guys, I haven't really put out any kind of an opinion. It's getting hard, guys. That's why I want to talk about these things. I really do want to talk about this. And I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this, because I know you guys have questions too. And of course, as always, we're going to be, throwing up any updates we can in regards to the other cases we're looking at. Riley Strain, Elijah Vu, and anything else we can throw out there, guys, because we got to keep this stuff going. We got to keep it hot. We cannot let any of this stuff go cold, period. So thank you for joining me as we do this. We got 33 beautiful peeps in here with 18 likes, guys. Come on now. I'm not even going to say it. You already know. We'll just leave it at that. But again, thank you for joining me today. Let's see who we got in the house with us today. Looks like Mr. Robert Bell. Welcome back to you. Illuminati and fiance. Thank you for joining us today, folks. Appreciate you. Brian Paula, good to have you here. Good to see you again. Robert Bell, welcome back. Good to have you here. Miss Teresa, thank you for joining us today. Great to have you back. Mr. Steve, welcome back to you. SWTC. Teresa again. All right, okay, same one. Sorry. I get confused because there's two of you guys. Miss JCN, welcome back. Good to see you. Miss Michelle Macklin, awesome to have you here, dear. Thank you for joining us again today. Jenny Jones, welcome back to you. Nope, not today. 62, welcome back to you. Great to have you here. Miss Paula, always a pleasure. B, Miss Bonnie Messick is in the house. Welcome back, Bonnie. Great to have you here. Brandy B, the OG, always here, no matter what. Thank you so much for being here again, dear. Groot, welcome back to you. Great to see you. Hey, Phoenix, what's going on, brother? Good to have you here. Thank you for joining us today. Anybody else that's out there just a lurking, we appreciate you so very much as well. Miss Carolyn Miller, welcome back. Great to have you here. Yes, I did, Miss Brandy. We're going to be talking about that too, dear. Moonlit Baby, welcome back to you. Cammy Q's in the house. What's going on, dear? Good to have you here today. Let's see here. I know I missed a couple people at the bottom here. Neil Homestead, welcome back to you. Willow's Mama's in the house. Welcome back. Moonlit Baby, I got you. Yes. Come on in, guys. Grab a seat. Please grab your coffee, tea, whatever it may be. Come in here, sit down. Please have a conversation with me. I appreciate that. We're going to have lots of conversations today. But there's a lot of questions that are unanswered. There's a lot of things that people are seeing and aren't saying. Some people are saying, I haven't said anything. I feel like it's time to make notice of certain things, okay? Because I can't. And there's a lot to talk about, in my opinion. Miss Kells is in the house. Welcome back to you, dear. Appreciate you being here with us today. Let's see here. Absolutely, Miss Paula. So much to talk about. So many things that don't make no sense. So many things that I think we've seen it. And we've all tried to be respectful in some senses, but at this point, guys, something's not right. It's been too long. I'm losing sleep over this myself, folks. I know I have. I mean, there's nothing dark here thus far, Cammy. You know, there's nothing bad that we're seeing, hon. And I know you don't handle some of this stuff real well, but we got to talk about this stuff, guys. I feel like we do. Lou Hellickson, welcome back to you. Yes. Absolutely. We're getting there, Moonlit and Illuminati. I'm telling you, we're getting there. We're getting there. For real. Something's up. And we've seen some things I pulled up yesterday that I found that were interesting. Doodle helped me find that stuff. There's just some things, some questions that just don't fit, guys. Things that are being said that come back in another way. I don't know. So come on in, everybody, please, if you will. And of course, yes. Just like a washing machine. That's a good point, Clue. And of course, we got to touch on some things that I got info on last night about Riley. That was interesting to me. You know, we'll see. So we got plenty to talk about today, guys. Come on in here, please. Find a place to sit, get comfortable, because we're gonna be here for a minute. And I really appreciate you guys joining us today, every one of you, so very much. 100%, Carolyn. Definitely praying for the family. I pray that Riley's okay too. I struggled with that a little bit. Drinking one of these awesome cups of coffee that War Eagle provided for me. I'm telling you, this box, I was curious about this. It's got like 62 different flavors of coffee in here. And I had one last night that was absolutely amazing. And called it Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Wow. It tasted just like, it was so good. So good. And I'm not typically one for flavored coffee, but that was good, folks. That was very good. And I'm very appreciative for you. Wherever you are, thank you again. Yes. 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 Robert, I'm there with you. Clue, we've already talked about it. I'm there. Something's not right. Something is not right. Okay. Duchess put up, she said something on her show last night. I was listening to this early this morning, and she's right. Something's off with that. There's been some things. One person says one thing, another says another thing, and then the point to the fact is, it was brought up about his weight. They stated on their initial thing that he weighed 120 pounds. His father, who I think seems to know him better, strangely enough, says no, he's like 105 pounds, 106 pounds. What the hell is a 15-year-old kid doing weighing 105 or 6 pounds? Why isn't he eating more? What's up? I mean, and then we hear that he gets up in the middle of the night because he's trying to get snacks and this and that. I mean, these are the questions I have issues with at this point now. Okay, so we're going to talk about all this kind of stuff, guys. I'm going to open up the phone lines at one point as well. Give everybody a chance to call in that we can. And again, guys, here's what I'm going to say this again. We need to keep this logical, commonsensical. There will be no any form of victim shaming whatsoever. Um, we have our opinions, our thoughts, and our theories about the interviews and stuff. We're talking about that, okay? And I want everybody in here to respect each other. That's my only rule. Is all I'm saying. So, gotcha, Clue. Yes, we will be talking about those things, guys. But my only rules, please respect each other. Everybody's going to have different opinions. Everybody's going to have different feelings about different things. That's okay. You're allowed to. Don't attack each other because you don't feel the same way, folks. We're all adults. We're all human beings. That's all I'm saying. Please. And that's all I'm asking from you guys. Nothing more. One moment, folks. That is the boss calling. Be right with you. Come on in, everybody. I will be right with everybody. All right, guys. Sorry about that. That was Mrs. Dago. An important call. I had to take that. My apologies. Welcome everybody else that's jumped in. We got 67 people, 40 likes. We can make that match, guys. Please, so we can get this out into the algorithm. Heard it on the X. Welcome. CL, welcome back to you. Good to have you here. Good to see you here. Thank you, SRB. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you. Mrs. M, always a pleasure. Let me see here. Boop-a-doop-a-doo, boop-boo, boop-boo. Davy Jones is in the house. Welcome back to you. Low Southern Style, thank you for joining us. I'm here, Cammy. Don't worry. Sorry about that. Bonnie Bailey, always a pleasure to see you. Come on now. Come on now. Sorry about the dead air, guys. Sorry. All right. Come on. Come on in, everybody. Get comfortable. Tracy Logston, thank you for joining us today. It's great to see you as well. Yes, Seth is the biological father. Miss Wisdom Speaks. Miss Sherry's in the house. Thank you for joining us today. Again, guys, this is an open discussion. I will be opening the panel and the phone lines up at one point for everybody to. We're gonna talk about everything we've seen and heard since this has started. We've seen many interviews, and everybody has questions. Welcome, Sarah Laird, Mark and Betty. Great to see you guys. Everybody has questions, guys. I have my own questions. I've kind of kept my thoughts and feelings to myself for the most part throughout this. Things are getting out there though. Like there's some things that I'm seeing and hearing, and I'm just not comfortable now with it. You know what I mean? Lots of questions. So we're all, and I know a lot of you guys do too, because I've seen them. You know, it is what it is. So again, that's what we're going to talk about. Everything that we've seen and heard, and how we feel about certain things, and we're going to keep it respectful to each other in here. Everybody's going to have different opinions about different things. Please respect each other. That's all I'm asking. We don't have to agree on things, folks. That's what it's all about. If we all thought the same thing, it would be quite boring, okay? So let's just respect each other, and no form of victim shaming is the only two things that I ask. And I know you guys are good for that. So let's keep it real, folks. So again, like I said, we've seen multiple interviews. Duchess has had a couple on her channel. Chronicles of Olivia, we covered that one yesterday. There's been multiple interviews, okay, and Seth has done a couple interviews himself. There's conflicting stories, there's conflicting issues, there's questions there's things that just don't make sense, and I just thought we need to talk. We all need to talk, and we need to come up with what we can come up with out of this stuff, to answer some of our own questions, in my opinion. So that's my point here. Let me see something here. And then, of course, like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about some things that I picked up last night about Riley Strain, and of course the updates and stuff like that. So we got plenty of time and plenty of stuff to gab about today. I'm going to pin a link in the chat for anybody that wants to join me up here on panel today to discuss these things. We'll do that for a little bit here as we talk, and then we will open up the phone lines for that too. And that's the whole point right there, Steve, is a lot of us don't understand a lot of this, because there's a lot that it just doesn't fit. Okay. A lot of us have said from the beginning on this, how did this happen? How did this happen and nobody saw anything? How did this happen and things aren't a certain type of way? Do you know what I'm saying? So that's where a lot of these questions and misinterpretations, maybe, or unanswered feelings, maybe, whatever you want to call it, that's what they're coming from. That bingo. And this is what we do, guys. We put puzzles together. Okay. Well, this puzzle has a whole lot of missing pieces. That's a great way to put it, Davey. And we're trying to figure those out. Lisa Vallejo, welcome. And there's the first contestant up to bid, as you want to call it. Welcome, JC. Good to see you today.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am wonderful. Did you get enough sleep last night? Is this too early for you?
No, actually, I've been up for a while. I'm actually
Okay.
glad that I wake up in time to catch you in the daytime because I work till 2:30 a.m. So
Right. That's why I was asking if you had gotten enough, because I know that's a late shift, you know?
yeah, I've been up since like 10, so it's 12:30 my time. So
Gotcha, gotcha. Well, thank you for joining us. I appreciate that very much. I always love hearing your input and your feelings on things. So you're following this case along with the rest of us, Sebastian Rogers disappearance.
yes, but I haven't seen a lot of the interviews and stuff, but I know that there has been interviews and um I'm hearing more about what was in the interviews and stuff, so I
Gotcha,
am following as closely as I can to it.
gotcha. Well, to start off, do you have any questions yourself in general to start off with?
It's just an odd situation, like you say, like the math ain't mathin', because there's no, like, didn't you say, or did I hear that there is a camera, but there's no footage of him leaving the
Um,
house? I mean,
I didn't say that. I've heard somebody else said that though.
okay,
Um, yeah, I don't know.
but
Illuminati kind of she lives in that realm of the area. She went by there, checked it out, so
yeah,
on and so forth. And my understanding is, and if I'm wrong, please correct me, that there's no camera visible on their home on the outside
okay.
exterior. There's no ring cam or nothing like that I know of. Good golly, Miss Molly's here. Good to see you, Molly.
So
So
that's unfortunate that we don't have any footage.
right, in that sense. But
Yeah.
this whole neighborhood, if you guys have seen this neighborhood, they live in a $600,000 home.
Yeah.
This neighborhood's gorgeous neighborhood, beautiful homes and all that. I'm gonna have to say that this neighborhood is full of cameras. Okay, and for this child to walk out of a door and walk out through this neighborhood and not be caught on a camera anywhere is has been an issue for me from day one.
But
Okay, so it doesn't make sense. And that's the thing. Paula says that we don't know if they had cameras inside the home because they won't tell us. That question was asked, and Chris said, I can't tell you that, and made it seem as if it's because of the investigation. Okay. I don't get that, but okay. Let's see here. In one interview, the mom said Sebastian hadn't been seen on any cameras. Then on another interview, and this is why we're doing this, folks. This exactly right here is why we're doing this today. On another interview, they said they couldn't say if they had cameras or not because LE told them not to. Thank you. And that's what I'm saying. We got one thing on this hand, we got one thing on this hand, we got something in the middle, there's something behind us, and it's all different stuff.
yeah.
That's why we're having this today. That's why we're talking these things out because we all in these communities want to be on the same page. Obviously, they're all not, but we're trying to be. So, because in the end, we all want Sebastian to come home, period. So, um, I would like to know, JC, if there is some form of footage of something. The only thing I've seen thus far is what I think is nothing, and that was that blip. I think Pascal put it up, and it was darkened out in the backyard. You saw a couple lights moving around.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't, I don't think that's anything, in my opinion.
I don't either.
So there needs to be some clarification of some things. You know, I'm not saying that this is going to do it today, but for some of us, it might help. Okay.
Clue's night drive actually gave me more than, or,
Yeah.
their
Yes.
day drives gave me more than anything, to be honest.
Absolutely.
And didn't they also say that they talked to Seth
Yes, they did.
okay.
Clue and fiance.
And fiance?
They made.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made their way to the construction site.
Yeah.
Ran into Seth, talked to him, so on and so forth. So yeah, they're definitely boots on the ground, doing everything they can do, putting up flyers, doing this, doing that, and I'm very, very, very appreciative of that. I wish I could be there to do that, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? We do the best we can where we are, so I'm very appreciative of that. And then things have changed, folks. We're getting, yeah, like Paula just said, that the TBI said that the flashlight footage has no evidentiary value, which I kind of came to that conclusion as well after watching it. I don't know, guys. I just don't know. Things have changed. Stories have changed. This has changed. That has changed. You know, we were told initially that Sebastian left the home with no shoes and a flashlight.
Yes.
Now, at this point, to the understanding is yes, he left the home with no shoes and what I call or will call like a pen light that's connected to a keychain, a tiny little light. That's not a flashlight, guys. So that's a different story. You know what I'm saying? And there's been other things that have changed throughout this story that are just not matching up. And we've also heard interview and some statements by Seth's mother, Sebastian's grandmother, that has me questioning other things at this point now too. Okay. So here we are. Let's see here what's going on over here in
Did he
chat.
have a cell phone?
He did have a phone, but that was left at home.
That was left at home. Okay.
And that's another thing I've always questioned. You have a phone, you're leaving the home.
Who leaves their
why didn't you take your phone? You know what I'm saying? That's exactly. And that's another good point there, Sherry. All due respect. But who can prove that Sebastian even had that flashlight itself? They're telling us that. Okay. Just because you can't find it doesn't mean that he took it. You know what I'm saying? I really agree with that statement, Sherry. That makes a lot of sense. You can say that because you can't find that specific thing. That doesn't mean he actually has that in his hand. It could be somewhere else. It could be put away. Could be lost. We don't know. Or it could be in his hand. We don't know that either. That's a problem. So, I'm starting to have some second thoughts about some things that I thought in the beginning. And like I said, I've kind of kept my feelings, I guess, to myself for the most part about certain things. I've had conversations with different people, different creators, you know, subscribers about this. I've this has been a lot to me. This case has really hit me hard, and it's I feel like I have to be vocal at this point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's true. That's very true, David. Like, even if he did take this keychain flashlight, what good is that doing to anybody? This child's afraid of the dark. We've been clarified. That's been clarified by his biological father as well as his mom and his stepfather. Okay, then. Welcome, Zelda. Thank you for joining us. What is this little dinky ass thing going to do? It's obviously not doing much. Okay, and I'm starting to wonder if that was thrown in there. I hate to say something like this. Was that thrown in there for convenience, or is this a true fact? Okay, you can't clarify that somebody took something with them just because you don't know where it's at this moment. So
it could be misplaced.
Absolutely, that's my whole thought right there. Welcome, Chemistry Queen. And yeah, exactly. This case is very, very fluid. Very good point, Tracy. Kim says teens don't leave their phone. Why is the entire home spotless? She can count all of his shoes, yet his room is a wreck. He doesn't like a math. I mean, come on. And that's another big issue I have. I know this may not be important to other people, but why are we saying, when you were asked a question, how many pairs of shoes does he have? Why is that a defensive remark? The answer, why is the answer defensive? Like, I'm not going to say that, but they're all accounted for. I did it myself. I don't get that. Welcome, True Crime and Other Stuff. Thank you for joining us. I'm glad to see your first time here. I hope you enjoy, and I hope you do come back. I don't know, guys. Something is not right. Something is off. And it's just been way too long for me. Like, if this child walked off, it's just something is just not right. I can't put my finger on it. What's that, hun?
How long has it been?
We are at 20. Hold on here. Let me double check. I know it's 20 some days. 23? 23 days, I think.
Okay.
I lost track based on the date, but he went missing.
Was it the
26th.
20?
Say again?
Was it the 26th?
I believe yes. Yeah. So today's the 20th. We're getting there. We're going on a month, you guys.
Yeah.
Welcome. 3 weeks, that's a long time. Feel the love. Thank you for joining us. And now I know it's been stated that there's been other children that have walked away, autistic and things like this, and that keeps a positive vibe in my mind about this. And I love that. That he could have walked outside the perimeter that they believe that he would be inside of. That makes sense too. Where are you? That's the problem. Where is he? Welcome,
Yeah.
Creeker. Thank you for joining us. Creeker says, my opinion is the stepfather is off or something is not adding up, especially if he did threaten the biological father with the lawyer over GoFundMe. And that doesn't make any sense either. Why? Why is it a big deal to have a GoFundMe? What's the big deal? If it's going to help to find the child possibly, why is it a big deal? Whether you have money or not. Welcome, Kim Holmes. Good to see you. And and here, my other thing, this is another issue I've had with this, is we heard in the very beginning with the first interviews, Christopher Proudfoot, the stepfather, claims, Christopher Proudfoot, because the grandmother has made a request, and I'm going to try to abide by that, has made a statement that all three parents, Kim, Katie, and Seth, are all together on this. They're very close. They're very tight. They're working together. And then, Seth comes out and basically says, no, it ain't really like that, without saying it. Do you know what I'm saying? Why? Why are you trying so hard to make this look like a nice big family, strong family unit that, this big tough united front to go find this out? And it's really not. So why are you pushing that theory? Question I have. Welcome, Tomboy. So these are the types of questions and theory or issues that I have with this scenario. Like, just be out there, be honest, be upfront. If you don't get along, you don't get along. It's okay. We don't expect that. The divorcees don't get along. It's normal. But why are you trying to play like it is? Again, another thing too. Why? Thank you, Zelda. Why has Katie and Chris not gone out looking for him? That's a big thing for me. Okay. Seth has been out there as often as he can be, doing what he's doing, pushing daily, doing this, doing that. Why are these two not? That's another. I'd be out there. I would, step parents or not. I don't care. I would be out there every single day, all day long, until I dropped from being exhausted. You know what I mean?
Did the enforcement tell them not to?
I don't believe so. I think they're asking everybody to go out there and do the best they can to find him, but they're not doing it. That's something that I have a huge issue with, and thank you to anybody that has donated to the channel this way to help support it. It is very, very, very much appreciated, folks. So that's been a problem for me as well. Brandy has a great point there. The GoFundMe can pay for more billboards, tracking dogs, PIs, etc., etc. There's nothing wrong with that. I agree. That's a perfect point right there. That's a perfect point, Brandy, but they don't want that. Why? They're threatening Seth's sister because she was putting this up and so on and so forth, getting into arguments with Seth's mother. I mean, again, what for? What about Sebastian? None of that other crap. I don't get it. And it took me back to, before the interviews, initially, we heard some rumors about how Chris was. If I see my house on the news tonight, somebody's going to have a problem, and blah, 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 and get away from here. And we don't need this and that. And then we got the interviews. Why? Make up your mind, folks. And I personally, thank you again, Zelda, for that. I personally, the last interview I watched, the one that Olivia did with those two, Seth came across as nervously uncomfortable to me in that interview. That's my opinion. It doesn't mean that it was true. There was anything to it. But it was he seemed a lot more nervous and a lot more uncomfortable in that interview than he did in the others. And I'm kind of like, why? You know what I mean? So those are some of the things that I personally have issues with. You know, I'm trying to check chat here to see anybody's comments or. Yes, I did see that, Teresa. I reported that yesterday, unfortunately. Where are we at here? You have my kid was missing. They'd have to interview me as I'm certain. Yes, yeah. I mean, we have time to do all these interviews, but no time to go out there and spend looking for him. I don't get that. See? Seth is on leave right now. He has not gone back to work. Interesting. Very interesting. So what else do you got that doesn't make sense to you on this, JC? And anybody else is welcome to join us up here as well if you feel it.
I don't know. I mean, it just doesn't. I'm just baffled.
The math ain't mathin', right?
Math ain't mathin'.
I have heard that multiple times, Zelda, that Sebastian is afraid of Chris. I've gotten that now multiple times from multiple people, multiple sources. I could see how and or why, but we don't know. Okay, so we got to look at it from different views, I guess. Agreed, SRB. The whole damn thing doesn't make any sense, none at all, and I just don't understand how there has been no sightings. There's been nothing to tell that this child left that house. That's another issue I have. Okay, there's been nothing that proves or shows that child left that house, other than the fact that the dogs picked up his scent and then lost it at the construction site. That doesn't prove that he left the house, though. That could be from any point in time in that relative period of time.
That he was by the construction site.
Right. Absolutely. And I asked a question during the one interview the other night to them, and I said, had Sebastian been around or gone near that construction site, anytime in the recent past? No, he answered no. And then Seth pops up and says, well, he is definitely interested in those types of machinery and those vehicles. Absolutely. Most kids are at that age. Welcome, M-Cause. Good to see you. So again, how and why? What's going on here? That's what I'm saying. So let me see here. I think I missed a couple. Noel, welcome. They are staying home because they don't want anybody in their home. Okay, it's interesting. So the original timeline was 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. How can that be when the last time she saw him was 9 p.m.? Well, and then we hear that he was still awake. She heard there was some kind of a noise that was made. And
coming
from go ahead, honey. Coming from his bedroom, right? And she's I don't, or the kitchen, I'm sorry. I don't care what you're doing. Go to bed. Okay. That doesn't sound very nice, but whatever. I get sometimes you got to be that way with kids. But you didn't get up and check it?
It could have been it could have been one coming in the bedroom. It could have been.
It could be anything, right? Listen, again, my son is the same way. He's 17 years old still. If I hear a noise, because he does the same thing, he gets up in the middle of the night, he does this, he's going outside in the middle of the night, guys. I live in BFE, I get it, but I'm still not comfortable with that when I don't know what you're doing. And any noise, I'm up immediately. What's going on? What are you doing? What's up? You okay? If I check on that child all the time throughout the night, if I get up to use the bathroom, I check on him. It's just what it is. It's part of being a parent. She blatantly stated when he was younger, yeah, but he's old enough now, I don't need to do that. Why? I mean, guys, we check on our children. Like, I've been in live streams at late at night, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning with Cluminati, for instance. And I'll be right back. I'm gonna go check on this or that. You check on the child. It's just part of being a parent, guys. I don't get it. You know what I mean? that was something that threw me off too. Yeah, I agree, Creeker, that the last interview was definitely odd. It was different. And let alone checking on the child, but noises in your home that you don't hear on a regular basis, you go look and see what that is. My understanding is that she was on the phone with Chris at that time. You didn't tell him? You didn't say, hey, or him on the other line of the phone's not going, hey, what was that, by the way? Why don't you go check that out? I would have, you know? I don't know. They said he was on nightmares, yet she never mentioned giving him his meds. Okay.
He was having nightmares, maybe.
Maybe that's what I'm, yeah. Yeah, there was something on camera with lights, Cammy, but I think it's been dismissed as nothing really. I think it was just reflections and stuff like that. That's my opinion. They should quit doing interviews and go out and look for their kids. Their interviews don't make them look good. I agree with that, and it's causing more rifts in this case, in my opinion. True crime, fiance or Cletus, whatever you guys want to call him, and made that statement the other night. Said, this is not doing good. It's not making it better by doing all these interviews. It's not helping. And Seth even came onto the one interview, and I guess Chris had offered to have him join that call, and he didn't want to do it. And he said in the chat that night, he said, I told you this doesn't help to find Sebastian. There's no point in this. So, I agree with that. I do wholeheartedly agree with that. And for some reason, I don't know why, but I have just this little inkling that this may or could or for some reason has something to do with the possibility, or possibly have something to do with the fact that Sebastian was going to live with his father at the end of this school year, which is coming up. Okay. Got a couple more months, school's over for the summer. And I don't know why I can't let go of that feeling, but for some reason, I feel like that may have something to do with it, folks. What it is, don't ask me, because I can't get to that yet, but something keeps bugging me about that fact.
The timeline.
Okay?
The timeline.
Oh, yeah. Yes. 100%, Steve. Quit doing social media live stream interviews. You know what I'm saying? That go to the mainstream media, do a news, put this out, whatever. Why are you doing it like this is what I didn't understand. 100%. The only thing they shouldn't be talking about their personal business. They shouldn't be talking about any of this stuff. You know what I mean? So I just don't get it, guys. Is there anybody else? Here, let me set this up too, by the way. 1 second. Let's see here. 1 second, guys. All right, I'm going to set this up and open up the phone lines here. Give me 1 moment. All right. All right. You're still here. Good deal. 1 second. All right, we're still here. I got that set up. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and open this up for phone calls. Give me 1 moment here to throw this up there. Boom, there's the phone number. Brandy says something is up with stepdad. He said his court hearing with his daughter, that this as boring. Then in the same breath, he says it's going to hurt it. Yeah. Remember that comment too. So, all right, guys, the phone lines are open if anybody wants to call in. And I want to try to keep these calls, if we can, guys, down to like 3 minutes max. That way everybody has a chance to call in. So let's get it in, get it out there, talk about it, and move on to the next if we can. So let's see here. Paula says the one thing that bothers me is in her first interview, mom acted like as soon as he was not in bed, she was frantic. Why? He's 15. Maybe he's in the bathroom or kitchen. Why frantic immediately? That's a good point. And it made me wonder, Paula, was there something that happened in the past that they've already had and already dealt with that maybe was kind of traumatic in a sense. We got our first call coming in. 1 second.
Call from Michelle.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, hi, Dago. It's Michelle. How are you?
I am wonderful, Michelle. How are you?
I'm okay. I just had a couple thoughts that bother me about the mom. That it was said, I don't know who, if it was family or whatever, that she's very, very manipulative with people. And I also wondered about if they got in an argument in his bedroom and maybe Sebastian was upset and threw his toys and something happened that maybe she got mad. I don't know. But she was in the bedroom, would they say 3 o'clock on her computer? But she lets that boyfriend or stepdad do all the talking. I was shocked. She even looked up once at the camera and she had Sebastian's toy crane on the table. So that construction site, Sebastian must have liked. But if he's having nightmares, he surely isn't going to go outside in the dark. But my statement that bothers me, the mother made, was I went to wake him. He was gone, but then noticed all his shoes were home and she instantly knew he was gone. I think that was on the first interview.
Yeah.
Why would a parent automatically, instantly think, oh my God, all his shoes are here, he's gone, when he won't go outside barefoot? He surely doesn't go outside without shoes because of the fire ants. I've been bit by those and learned the hard way in Florida and never go out without shoes anymore. But I just want to say I find something with her more odd than I do the stepdad.
A lot of people
That's just
saying that recently. Yeah, I can agree.
Yeah, and
I'm saying that.
Okay, and just one more question: is she cleared too? They all are.
Nobody's cleared. Seth made that clear.
Oh,
Seth made that clear the other night that nobody's cleared. Whether they're saying they are or they're not, nobody is. So.
okay. And is it true when he said, well, he said, oh, we passed the polygraph, but I won't tell you who passed? Made me think, okay, he didn't either take one. What was that about?
I'm all confused about that because initially he stated that somebody asked that question and he said, yes, results both passed. Okay. Then it goes back and he changes it. Then he goes and changes it again. Then it goes back to they passed. I don't understand what's going on with the polygraph thing. It does not clearly make sense.
Because I'm sorry, because then he comes back and when he's talking and says, but I can't tell you, I'm not going to, I didn't say who passed her or anything.
Right.
So it was, and that, makes me even wonder who did polygraph, but I have all the faith in that dad. And someone also said the child support she would stop getting when he goes to live with the father. And I'm not saying that's what it is, but I saw someone mentioned that, and then I mentioned it in chat. But
right, and I don't know what that is. We don't know what that is, but that would definitely change things up. I agree.
Yeah. But my biggest point, and I'm going to let you go, is I think that room was a mess, unless somebody said it always is, that there was a ruffle between him and his mom that night, if that room is a mess, or has it always been, she always leave it messy for him?
I can agree. He's 15 years old. He's autistic, per se. My child does not like to clean his room. Okay. Most kids don't. They don't like to do it. They won't do it. It is what it is. It could very well lead to, if she was stressed out about anything, there could have been a disagreement between the two of them and things blew up somehow and something did happen.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Okay. And one more question. What do you think about her always letting him talk and she looks down and some of the things she says, and was it her family that said she's a very manipulative person?
It was, I believe it was Seth's mother and somebody else that had made that statement about her being manipulative.
Okay. Okay. Well, I know you only want 3 minutes, so I'm going to let you go, and you hang in there.
Thank you, ma'am, so very much. I appreciate you, Michelle, and I appreciate your
I appreciate you. Okay. Thank you. Later.
Yes, ma'am. Bye-bye. Thank you, for calling Michelle. Those are good points. They're good points. You still with me here, JC?
I am.
Awesome. So yeah, those are good points. I've always questioned why Chris does all the talking. I don't know if it's on his side of things or her side of things. Maybe she doesn't want to, but when there's certain things that she wants to speak up about, she speaks up and we hear her. She's
odd.
always kind of, yeah, it is strange. And she's always kind of like, and I understand she's going, if, this is all what it is. She's going through something any parent should be. But she always seems to kind of zone off and go somewhere else when she's here sitting through these interviews. And I get that if that's what the case is it, you're going through this and you're freaking out, you're upset, you're sad. What is it? You know what I'm saying? That's making you do that.
Or is it that she's trying to check out of the situation?
100%. There was my other point. Thank you. That's what it seems like in some senses. And I've made that comment. It does seem like she could feel like, I don't want to be here. Let's go over and separate my mind from this situation.
Yeah.
So it is quite interesting. Going back to Siri says Seth said he volunteered, but they told him he didn't need to do one when it came to the polygraph. That's a fact. Well, he wasn't anywhere around here. And see, that tells me something. Think about that for a minute. He volunteered to take one. They didn't. They were kind of put into the point. Why did they make them take one? There's the law enforcement has some doubt with something somewhere. I don't know what it is, but that's what that tells me. And that they never thought that Seth had any involvement is something else that tells me as well. Very much so. She does look very uncomfortable. And like I said, with this last interview that they did with Olivia, he looked very uncomfortable. He didn't look anywhere near as comfortable as he did in the first original one. So I just don't know what to think. She has daggers in her eyes when speaking about Sebastian, especially the other day watching Olivia's interview. Yeah, there was a darkness about that one. And I have not heard them clearly, regularly speak the child's name. So I don't know, folks, and maybe that's just me. Hell, welcome, Kara Willis. Thank you for joining us. And they also, guys, if you hadn't noticed, went from the search to an investigation pretty quickly, which made me wonder, did they have some info that made them feel like they needed to switch that up quick? You know what I mean? I don't know. These are just thoughts. That's all I'm saying. Thank you, Zelda, very much.
Somebody said in chat, I think law enforcement knows way more than they're giving us.
I'm starting to feel that too. I agree.
I hope so. Because you know what I mean?
Yes, I agree. And I feel like they do. And they're keeping it quiet because, for the good of the investigation. Probable cause for criminal investigation. Very good point.
I like to give law enforcement the benefit of the doubt in these situations.
Yes, ma'am.
They have a lot on their hands.
Absolutely, especially in a case like this. And one other thing that came to mind, guys, last night, as I was sitting here stewing this over in my mind, as I do every single night with this case. They were both military, both Katie and Chris. Katie worked for a security systems company. Welcome, Jesse Lynn and Sunshine. Good to see you guys. So they probably have some experience with certain types of things, right or wrong.
Right.
And it made me wonder, what do you know based on your military experience, your working for the security company? What do you know that you can do or
use your
advantage? There you go. Great way to put this. And I feel that way too in some senses. Sherry, I think she could be, but why though? What, is it something that she was already on? Or is it because of this situation? So, again, welcome, Kara. It's great to see you, dear. They aren't just searching a land pool out of the abundance of caution. You know, I agree with that, CL. I thought when we first heard that whole thing, by the way, my understanding is that wasn't supposed to come out, that they were searching the landfill. That was leaked, okay? So I don't think that was just a, what do you call it? A regular thing they do. I think there was a reason for that. Thank God they didn't find anything there, but again, something else, you know? Welcome, Cassie. Something else that says, hey, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Again, guys, the phone lines are open. The phone number there is 234-703-4047. Call in and let us know your thoughts. JC Ann's up here with me right now. Anybody else is welcome to join us. I have plenty of room to express your feelings and your thoughts and any questions you have. I'd like to hear it. Welcome, Brenda. Good to see you. Good to have you. Brenda says, Dago, I'm not accusing or excusing, but that mom never looked up until Oliver mentioned Olivia, I'm sorry, mentioned another child, but never looked up over her son. That is strange. I agree with that one, Brenda. That's a good point. Good catch. Let's see. And they didn't, you're right. They didn't look at the landfill very long. They didn't go through, for those of you that followed in here or anywhere else when we covered the Quentin Simon case, they were at that landfill for a long time. Days upon days. They were at the landfill for him just, what was it, 1 day or 2 days, something like that. They were at the landfill for Quentin for like a couple weeks, I think. So that was a quick 1-over thing. You know, I don't think that it was as, I think they were looking for something, not somebody, okay? Like a specific object, possibly.
Like something instead of somebody.
Yes. Exactly, that's what I think.
And they either found it or they didn't.
And that's what SRB just said. For all we know, they already found what they needed to find at that landfill, which is why it was so quick, and they just won't release that info. That's a good point, SRB, and I do appreciate that. Maybe they were looking for that flashlight and they found it, or something else that they found. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it was so quick, in and out. They got it. We're moving on. You know what I'm saying? And that could have been. I'm trying to think of the timeline, guys, but when is that around the time that they switched over from the search to the investigation after they did the landfill search? Or during that point in time, that could have been something, you know what I mean? That made them say, okay, this is now an investigation, folks. The glasses, anything. Very good points, guys. Very good points. That, yeah, she didn't. She never looked up on that once. Did I see her look at Olivia? I agree with you on that, Kara.
That's strange.
It is. It is. When you're talking about a child, your child, specifically your child, I'm going to look you in the face. If I'm being heartfelt and being honest with you, I want you to see my emotion. I want you to see how serious I am about this. She didn't look at her one time. I agree with that.
And that's the thing I was going to say. Like, if I'm trying to find my son and someone's questioning me about it, I'm going to look them dead in the eye and be honest.
Right. Feel okay. Like I said, I think we're gonna have to look at this, guys, and figure out exactly when they switched this over to an investigation as compared to the landfill search, because I think that coincides with that in some or fashion, in my opinion. I might be wrong, and I'm okay with that. It's just these are the things that I've been looking at and thinking about to try to put something together with this. You know what I'm saying? Good gracious, Miss Kim, 17 months. That's awesome. Awesome. I love it. Thank you so much for being part of this community, Kim. It's amazing. We've had you in this sauce with us as a meatball for 17 whole months. Plus, I think actually it's more than that, but thank you for that. We appreciate you very much. So SRB says around March 4th. they switched it up. Let me look at something. Well, I can't right now. I'll wait here, but we're going to check out and see when they did do that whole landfills. It was right after the landfill search. Wow. See? And that's what I was thinking. They go to this landfill, they do this search. You know, it was very quick in and out within a 24 to 48 hour period. And then all of a sudden, this changes over to an investigation as compared to just a search. That told me something. I haven't really said a lot about that. I just wanted to kind of hold that to myself for a while until we got to the point where we're going to have these discussions. Well, that's what I'm saying, guys. That's what makes sense to me at this point. Congrats, Chemistry Queen, a member for 8 months. That's so very awesome. Once again, thank you for being part of this community. We appreciate you so very much. Right. She does look up occasionally, Doodle says, but she never looks at anybody in the face, which is interesting. March 7th was the landfill search. Yep. That sounds about right. And let's see. Tomboy.
You know when these interviews are going to be. And so does she take a certain medication to make her
flaccid and able to do these possibly? Yeah, I can see that could be a possibility for sure.
I mean, you can manipulate, trust me, like I take medication too, and I don't, but I know that I could manipulate it if I really wanted to.
Right. Now I get you. I know what you're talking about, Doodle. I can't think of it, but it also comes with people that are being dishonest. It comes with people that carry guilt. So, you know, there's different variations of reasons for that. Welcome, Jackie Bushable. They have shut down the dam in Tennessee. They're probably going to drain the river, Jackie, just for probably for Riley, in my opinion, at this point. Right, exactly. Film me from the back or while I search or get out of the way. 100%, and that has not happened yet. Not once. I don't know, guys. And that was something I brought up a while back too. She could be on the spectrum as well. And yes, it would. It would very much explain that. But I don't know. Excuse me. Asperger's, yes. Yes, that could be it too, Doodle. Again, we don't know these things because, you know, that hasn't been put out there. That would explain a lot and would change a lot of people's minds with some things, I think. Agreed, Jesse. We've been looking at that a lot. I feel so bad for Riley's mother. It's been rough. Demon, who are you talking about? Hold on, let me back up and check to see if I'm missing something here. You heard that Sebastian's mother checked into a mental hospital? Or are you talking about Jennifer Soto? Because that was talked about before, Demon. Thank you so much, Jackie, for that. The first super sticker. We appreciate you very much. Definitely appreciate that. Let's see. CL says February 26th, Sebastian disappears. March 3rd, they scaled back the search and started the criminal investigation. March 7th was the landfill search. Fast series events. Ellie knows, in my opinion. And that's okay. So here we go. Thank you for the timeline thing. So March 3rd, they scale back the search and they start that investigation. Oh, so we got 4 days. They go to the landfill search. So they got some form of information, in my opinion, that told them we need to be looking for stuff. Okay. So, interesting. It's not as close as I thought it would be, but still. No, I get it, Doodle. I get it 100%. Oh, no problem, Demon Dog. I don't know that that's in regards to Katie. I don't think so, but you know, we don't know everything that goes on, so it could be possible. Again, guys, phone lines are open 234-703-4047. Please feel free to call and give us your thoughts, theories, opinions on what you think is going on, how you feel about this case. I'm willing to hear it. I want to hear it. So thank you for that again, CL. That definitely helps in some ways. Welcome, Canadian Cat Lady. Great to see you today. Again, guys, I also have the link pinned in the chat. If you want to jump up here with me and JC, throw out some opinions, thoughts, or theories on this, feel free. I got plenty of room, plenty of time. So come on down. March 4th, the search was scaled back. 5th, 6th, 7th, 3 days. So I'm telling you, there was something that was put in front of law enforcement that made them change their mind on that. Okay, it's just there's got to be something that put them into that investigation mode. Yes, absolutely, and I appreciate you very much, and thank you for that. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. Let's see here. They got a warrant for that landfill too. In my opinion, it was more than just abundance of caution. That's what I've been saying, CL. You don't just get a warrant unless you have, good cause, I think, to suspect something.
Probable cause.
And probable cause, of course, yes. But good reason, I should say,
Yeah.
to suspect something that may have to do with that specifically. Right. You don't just ask for that on a whim. I agree. Welcome, Florida baby. Great to see you today. Thank you for joining us. 123 peeps in here. I can't tell how many likes we have, but I hope we're breaking 100 folks so we can get this in the algorithm. So please hit that like button when you jump on in here, guys, so we can get this out there. I appreciate that. Get out of your head, Tomboy says. I'm trying. We all think a lot in the same way with these things, guys. So that's why this is happening, Tomboy. I'm being honest with you. Too often people don't follow their instincts. Glad you did. That makes good sense. Guys, a lot of us get gut feelings. I've seen what, Sherry has said that to me multiple times. Molly has said that. I feel some kind of way about this because, I got this feeling. And a lot of times these things end up being true. And that's interesting to me. And we as human beings do have instincts. We're instinctual people. And you just kind of follow these things and things make sense. That's absolutely 100%, Kim. Staying on the fence. I got you right there. I make sense to me. That's typically how I am. I got so many different questions now and so many issues with certain things that it's like, it's hard to stay on that fence. You know what I mean?
Everything that you learn, Dago, is going to put you one way or the other.
Right.
And then you just got to weigh your pros and cons, I guess, and figure out what you think is the truth and what has more validation and accreditation. And the more cases that you look at and see what actually happened, the more knowledge that you have for the next one.
I agree. Guys, I'm doing some wacky crap right. Some keys that. My apologies if you can hear me.
Yeah. Oh, are you cutting out?
Yeah, I seen it
buffering
a little bit on this end, and I seen it going up and down. So my apologies if that happened.
That's okay.
Can you see and hear me okay?
Now I can, yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that, folks. I don't know what the deal is with this stupid internet again. Thank you, Davy Jones, for that.
But I mean, I just want to say, like, from all the cases that I've, researched and, done, I've learned so much that, nothing really shocks me. I want to say nothing shocks me, but there are still shocking things.
Yeah.
Because you're just not expecting it, I guess.
Why is this doing this? Hold on here. This statement here, maybe she threw away something of his because he wouldn't go to bed and he snuck out to find it. She could have caught him looking, told him it's in the landfill. I mean, that's a good point, Kim. Good point. Interesting theory, in my opinion. Sorry for the lag, guys. It's got to be the internet crap. I'm so sorry. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, now I can.
Did you hear Seth's comment on the pull-ups? No, I did not. What's that all about? She had him in pull-ups. That said, potty trainer didn't need pull-ups at all. Okay, and this is another observation that I have, you guys, too. Okay, and I got to speak on this. I have noticed that the mother seems to be making this child out to be like way worse shape than he is. Does that make sense? Situationally, like his issues that he has, and she seems to be putting it down there like he's so almost like an invalid in some senses. Does that make any sense?
Like a mild form of Munchausen by proxy.
And that's what yeah, she's got something like that going on, it seems like, because Seth has put this out there like there's nothing wrong with my son. Yes, he's got, you know,
He's autistic.
autism, but he's very high functioning. And Katie does not treat it that way. She doesn't talk about him that way. Even Christopher has said, he's not brought it out like he's not that bad. You know what I mean? But she does not seem to do that, and that's interesting to me.
She treats him like a literal child.
And Brandy says she's making him sound like Matthew. Matthew is Brandy's child. Matthew is definitely very, very low functioning autism. Okay. He's not very verbal, things like that. And that's how she's putting Sebastian out there in some senses. You know what I mean? And it doesn't make sense. Why would you do that? Why would you make it out to be more than it is?
Because you want attention.
And that's kind of what I'm starting to gather. And after seeing that comment about the manipulatory type stuff, that was interesting to me.
It's obviously not to the point of Dee Dee Blanchard, but it's
right.
It's still it still could be a mild form of it.
I'm gathering that myself. And this seems to be her only child. That's typically how that works too. It's a lot stronger with that. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I was wondering too, Tomboy, just because she always wants him to be dependent on her. And now we know that he's leaving to go live with his father. Is that affecting her emotionally in that sense because of that situation, possibly? You see what I'm saying? If he's leaving, what is she going to have then? She's not going to have that child to rely on her.
The sense of being needed.
Because
and that bothers her.
Christopher is off in Memphis quite often. He's not there very often. When Seth leaves, what happens to her next? Maybe she's not okay with that.
You mean when Sebastian leaves?
Or no, when yeah, sorry. Sorry. There's so many names, I get them confused sometimes, in my opinion. My apologies. Right, Davey. You see what I'm saying? Some of these things, and that's why I wanted to have these conversations, because some of these things, if you talk about it, it does make some sense, okay? Well, it was asked if he was a bedwetter, and Seth said, not at my house. So, and that's another thing. That's what I'm saying, Carol. And I've been putting that together for a couple of days too. And it's like, is that what may be going on here? Now,
because sometimes bedwetting is a sign of being scared.
Oh yeah, wholeheartedly, absolutely it is, and other things. There are a lot of woods around there, Kim. A whole lot of woods. It's completely surrounded by woods, so
yeah.
And it would be real easy to make things happen in those wooded areas.
And the other point that I want to make about the woods is, when Clue and fiance did their, drive, like it's dark. And
oh yeah,
and at that time of night it's also dark. So I don't know if maybe it's so dark that cameras won't pick up, but if there are no cameras, no one's gonna, you know, and no one's looking out their window, you're not gonna see anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. There was never a real reason given, Terry, about why he's going to live with Seth. This comment here, Tomboy, says I was reading in a chat the other day about a neighbor confirming that Chris's nephew was spotted coming home from the restaurant with the mom on Sunday night. Where and how was that comment put out, and who can clarify that? Because that, if that's true, that's very interesting to me. Yeah, Clue lives right there, Jesse, like right within that vicinity. So, hey, Leslie and Billy, good to see you today. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, from the understanding I have, that Sebastian has always wanted to live with Seth and just wasn't able to, I guess. 100%, Paula. That's what I was just saying. That would be a game changer if that's true. And there's a way to vet that. That changes this whole thing. Absolute whole thing. I think, Kim, that it was supposed to be for the summer. And if everything went well, then maybe a permanent basis, because he spent his whole first 15 years with mom. Now, you know, that's my understanding. I could be wrong, though. I do too, Jesse. I really do at this point, and it's starting to bug me.
Well, yeah, and I did. That's the other thing I heard was he going there permanently, or did he just go there every summer?
This is going to be a moving in thing. I know he visits with Seth every other weekend and other times and so on and so forth, but this was a permanent scenario from my understanding.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I gathered too, that he was
Right.
going to go live with him permanently.
And this here, Kim, Sebastian didn't like his father's cigarette smoke. Right. And like, well, Christopher said that he told Sebastian that that's not a reason to not go live with your dad, blah, blah, blah. And he tried to say that Sebastian, one day he liked it, one day he didn't. I just don't believe that. I feel like this is what he wanted, was to go live with his father. I feel like he had more fun when he was with his father. He was able to be more of a child when he lived with his father, or when he was staying with his father. That's my theory and my opinion. I'm not saying it's true, but I do feel that way.
Because his mom tried to control him too much.
Right. And a helicopter parent. And some of these kids, I've been that way with Caden, and he's gotten to like, really, Dad? I'm bigger than you now. I think I can deal with this and deal with that. And I'm like, I get it, you know, but this is my last child, my baby. He does have some of these issues, but he's very high functioning. And I have had to step back and allow certain things to happen that I'm not comfortable with.
And it's hard for you to let go, isn't it?
It is, absolute. But I know I have to. That's the difference, you know. That's the difference.
It's heartbreaking. I know. I mean, I don't personally know, but
it absolutely is. It's very hard.
Understand.
The only two drugs approved by the FDA for autism case: intense food cravings and weight gain. Yeah. Caden took something called methylphenidate, and he did gain weight on that. But there's a couple different ones that Caden was on every medication they've made. Some of them were stimulants, and they made him have like heart palpitations and stuff like that. So we took him off of that. But I don't know what medications that Sebastian is on and was taking. Wait, what do you think about the continuing what we've heard? I mean, it's interesting that, you know, I'd like to know what medication he was on. That's a good point, though, Paula. Very good point. Josie, good to see you. I'm sorry about your headache. I hope it goes away. Seth said the eyeglasses that Sebastian wrote were to correct a lazy eye. But he put them on every morning. They weren't corrective. Well, here, yeah, my nephew had a lazy eye bad. It went like almost all the way over, and they put him in glasses to make his eyes straighten out, which worked. But he had to wear them every single day, all day long, for everything. And yes, CL, he is almost anemic, I think is what Seth said, and he's definitely supposed to be taking iron pills twice a day, I believe it is. With a strong parent who can loosen the reins bit by bit. Yeah, you got to do it little by little by little. As much as I didn't want to, I had to. I was in denial for that for a while. My wife, thank God, said, listen, you're so overly protective over him. And it was me, not her, that was this person. Like, he wanted to go spend the night with one of his friends. And I said, no. She said, what do you mean, no? Let him. I said, I don't know. Like, he's never been with these people. He's never stayed there. And I looked for every excuse I could find for him not to go until she finally said, this is ridiculous. You need to let this child. He doesn't have very many friends. Please. And I said, you're right. And it finally made sense. And it's like, you know, I don't want him to resent me. Now, remember, I just said that. I don't want him to resent me because I'm trying to protect him from something he doesn't need protected from. There's that. Now that I've said that, think about that for a minute. If she's being a helicopter parent and overly protective, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, doesn't make you a bad person because you're like that. It means you love your child, but maybe too much. Okay. And being that he has these issues, you know, I wasn't like that with the rest of my children. I loved them. I protected them. I would never let anything happen to him. But with Caden, because of those issues, I was on top of everything. Anybody spoke to him wrong, I was going to go to that person and deal with it. People were just one of those parents, okay? And it really was a lot for me to be able to loosen those reins and let him have a life as a teenager. And I'm getting better at it. It's getting easier, you know. But it does happen, folks. And you know, some people can't make that transition. That's the problem. Some people just cannot make that transition. In turn, it can cause psychosis for some people not knowing how to deal with that. You know what I mean? And when they're not, yeah, I agree, Kara. When they're not around you and you have no control of that situation, it's very hard, but you got to do it, guys. You got to do it. Terry says, I'm going to be, well, you can be Frank if you want, but I prefer you be Terry. That was a joke. Haha. I know I'm such a dork. I know. It's okay. Gotta love it. I get the feeling that Greg is a narcissist and very controlling. I just didn't get that he put up with. Do you mean Chris, not Greg?
Chris, yeah.
Yeah, you mean Chris. Okay, I got you, Terry. No problem. I mean, a lot of people are saying that and they're getting that, so it makes sense. The mom gets tired of washing the bedding off and etc. Accidents and clothing. Some people can't handle it. That's a good point. Very good point. My neighbor had the same situation with a 59-year-old who stroke. Gotcha, Carolyn. And I love you all so very much as well, Miss Jessie. Even though I'm a dork, I get it. It's okay. But Seth said he wasn't a bedwetter. No need for pull-ups. He was potty trained long ago. Right. Shane Nolan, thank you for joining us. Could the mom have needed to take a drive that morning to dispose of her burner phone? Anything is possible, Shane. Anything's possible. I'm glad I found you. It's okay. True crime. I love it. I'm a dork. And I have no shame, folks. None at all. I love being who I am, and most people do too. So nothing wrong with that. I think you're the best person that you can be when you're being real, dork or no dork. It's okay. I have a goofy sense of humor, and I have no qualms with sharing it with people that I care about, which is this whole community. So here we are. You got to let go a little bit and be funny every now and again, especially with what we deal with, folks. It's very sad in some sense.
Of our friends, where's Clue at today? Clue and fiance.
She was in here. I don't know if she's still in here. She might be working on one of her videos, but she was in here in the beginning. I saw her. She made a couple comments in here.
I try to take her place when she's not here for you. Don't know how well I do because
no, it's fine. I appreciate anybody that wants to jump up here and express. Please feel it, or not feel it, but feel welcome to do it. I appreciate you guys. I I think you must be. Oh, of course I am. 49 years old. So yes, I think our generation was definitely the best generation, in my opinion. So welcome, Michelle Weddle. Good to see you. Harsh One, Shelley, True Crime. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, Josie, I hope you do start feeling better, dear. Migraines suck.
I don't know what generation I'm from because I'm on the brink.
When were you born?
84. The end of 84.
I think you're still part of.
I'm a millennial.
Yeah.
I'm the oldest millennial.
Yeah, you're right at that break there,
Brink.
I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot more to say about Riley, but
Oh no, we're gonna get to that too.
We can wait until we get there.
Absolutely, we're getting there. We're gonna get there. Does anybody else have anything else that they want to discuss? We can actually go to discuss the Riley situation and come back to this if anybody's more comfortable with that. It's up to you guys, whatever you want to do. Oop, there's Tomboy. Hey, hey. How are ya? Can you hear me? You're muted. You're muted.
Better?
You there?
Well, now I can't hear you.
I hear you.
Oh, there we go.
All right.
Yeah.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, Terry, that whole comment there with the cement thing, that blew me away. Where the hell did that even come from? I agree. What's up, Tomboy? What do you think?
Well, my question starts with the first interview. She said it took her like 3 minutes to realize that he was gone, and then they called 911. And then miraculously it changed to she drove around.
Yeah. Where did that come from, and when did that pop up? Do you remember that?
It was, I think it was in the, why do I want to say it's the Chronicles with Olivia, or the it wasn't the Hands interview.
Right. Let me see.
I want to say it was with the Chronicles of Olivia interview that they drove around.
Yeah, let me see something here real quick, because I've had a few people make reference to. 1 second, guys. I got an idea.
The pushed in cement story come from?
That was so weird. That comment came out of left field to me, and I was just like, what in the hell and why?
In today's video,
It was quite interesting to say the least. All right, guys, we're gonna reference this interview, because this interview to me was different, more different than anything else we've seen.
And this is the Olivia one, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
There's a lot of things in here that I want to reference because it was strange. It was very strange to me. And again, let me know how the audio is for instance.
Of Sebastian's disappearance, kind of walk through that day.
You have an echo.
Sunday, the day before he went missing.
Is that better?
Yes.
And
Hey, Arctic Fox, thanks for joining us, brother. Guys, that's the other channel I was telling you guys about. Mods, can we please drop that link? Duchess, welcome. Great to have you here as well. Thank you guys for joining us today. Drop both those links, guys, if you can. Dutchies as well as Arctic Fox, both great channels. If you guys haven't checked it out, please show some love and respect. Go check them out. You will not be disappointed. Amazing channels, guys. And they are amazing with this case and others as well. We've all really been putting the time and the work in on this. And I respect both of these people as well as their subscribers for doing what they do. So thank you guys for joining us today. Guys, again, for those of you that just popped in, we're having an open discussion, panel, phone calls, whatever it is that we're doing, but there's so many questions and misinterpretations and just things that people are questioning that I think that we just need to talk about. So that's what we're doing. And welcome to every one of you guys. Thank you, Brandy. There's Dutchie's link there. And then we, of course, when we can, let's throw up Fox's too, guys.
Dago, I'm just going to say you need to take beard growing lessons from this guy because he grows the quickest beard ever.
you. Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty quick, you think?
Yeah, like he glued it on.
Uh-huh. That was somebody else said that the other day. I was like, where the hell did this beard come from? I said, sorry, I don't know. Pretty wild though. Pretty
It
wild. All
also
right.
might
Gotta
be in the
see more of it.
genes.
What's that?
It also might be in the genes.
Yeah, I mean, mine grows pretty quick. There it is. That's Fox's linked there, guys. Arctic Fox, please check that one out as well. Great stuff, folks.
Arctic
Great stuff.
Fox, true crime. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, it like I remember the one interview we saw, he was clean shaven, everything was great. And then it seemed like a couple
No
days.
petals were crawling on the bottom.
Yeah, Michelle, give me a minute before you call in though, but the number's scrolling on the bottom. I want to talk about this interview here just a little bit. And then we will go ahead and pick up the phone calls again, guys. All right, I'm going to kick this off again. Dakota, welcome. Good to see you.
Fun fact, I made breakfast that morning. We had a good time. We were laughing, we were joking. He talked to family on the phone during breakfast to brag. We went and picked up our niece. I got a call, and
One of the things that's been noticed about this a lot, thank you, Duchess, same to you, hon, is, and a lot of people question this and come to me like, why do you think, Dago? Why do you think, I don't know, guys, but if you notice, like she's answering a question and she's not looking at the person asking, she's looking at him and then back to nothing. Okay. No problems, Michelle. I'll let you know, dear. I'll read it off to you again.
asked if I could go pick her up, and I did. We went and did that. We went to BJ's. Had a good time there. He ate a colossal popcorn.
Huge point, Arctic Fox.
Away because we bought snacks because he's snacks. We went to the bowling alley, and then from there we went to dinner. Came home. He took out the trash because that's his chore. He takes the cans into the driveway.
Now, again, this is the only interview that I was kind of shocked. He didn't really say anything in this interview. And again, to me, there became I call it an uncomfortable nervousness that Chris projected in this interview. Okay. An uncomfortable nervousness, which was strange to me. And she did almost all the talking in this interview. It was strange.
And she sounds really nervous to me.
Oh yeah. She's definitely off. And like I said, I've noticed that she seems to be projecting herself somewhere else, if that's a good way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
She does not look at Olivia or the camera. She won't. Maybe she's camera shy. I don't know. But these are the things that when you analyze these things, you pull out of this. You know what I mean? So, and that's why we're doing this today, because everybody has sent me multiple emails about this, that, and everything else. So let's talk about it. That's how I feel. Thank you, Brandy, for that again. And yeah, I agree, Dutch. It was very interesting to see Katie taking the lead on this, because I was shocked, I'll be honest with you. Very much so. Let's move forward a little bit. Yeah, right, Carolyn. She specifically questioned her specifically, which was interesting.
About 9 o'clock, told him to go to bed. He's come out of his room where he was playing, and he said, "All right, good night, Mama. Good night, puppies. I love you." And went to bed. He was doing something in his room because about an hour later I heard some noise, and I was like, "I don't care what you're doing in there, but go to sleep." And about midnight, I got up and I went to bed. And 6 o'clock, I went to wake him up for school Monday morning, and that's when he went in here.
What was going through your mind at that point? Like, what were the feelings that you were feeling?
To censor myself. Holy freaking crap, this can't be happening. Where is my kid? Choice words were used. Like,
Oh, she had to force that look.
you know, I had called I
Thank you for noticing that. Watch this real quick. I have a tendency with interviews like this to watch them 300 different times and analyze everything about them. Not every single thing doesn't mean something, folks. Understand that. Not every single thing. But I'll sit with my wife because she took classes that are for this type of stuff when she got her psychology degrees, body language classes, and all this kind of stuff. And I'll sit with her and I'll say, what do you think about these things? And she's like, well, there's this and there's that and there's this and that. You know what I mean? So I take some of these things into effect. And it's interesting. It's very interesting. So if you watch this one thing here, I'm glad you caught that, though. Pay attention to when she's answering this and watch her eyes.
to censor myself. Holy freaking
What's your
shit,
head?
happening? Where is my kid? Those were used.
It's like she tried to force herself to look, but still couldn't fully look at that direction. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying this means anything, you guys, but it was just something that we caught that I thought was interesting as well. And you obviously did too.
Like, you know, where the F is he, you know. I had looked through the house for him because it was typical for him to get up and come and rummage for snacks and things like that. And he likes to dip behind the, you know, walls and watch, you know, and then he comes out after I come back and he likes to scare me. But after 1 minute left. I was like hollering his name, and I picked up the phone and I called my husband and I said, I can't find him. And he said, what do you mean? I said, he's not in this effing house. I can't find our son. And I jumped in my car and I drove around the neighborhood and I drove over by the school, and he's already like, at this point I was like hysterical and I was crying and I was screaming, and he was like, three-wayed law enforcement and was telling them like our son is missing and we don't know what's going on, and he was like, go back to the house, they're on their way. And I ran back, drove.
I bet issue, and maybe it's me, maybe it's just me, but and questioned the fact that why did they have to three-way the police? Well, I just don't get that. You know, why didn't she just hang up and say, okay, I'm calling them right now, and I'll call back?
Because I'm gonna bet he did the whole conversation with the sheriff.
That was my thought. I think she just kind of maybe sat there and answered a few questions, and he led that conversation for whatever reason. I'm guessing. Now this is the part where she went out driving around.
One dingy.
I'm gonna go ahead and finish playing this. Sorry.
I was like hysterical and I was crying and I was screaming, and he was like, three-wayed law enforcement and was telling them like our son is missing and we don't know what's going on, and he was like, go back to the house, they're on their way. And I drove back to the house, and 20 days later we haven't found him.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how stressful that is. And also, like when we were driving up here, like this neighborhood is so pretty and nice. And do you think, has he ever like walked away before, or like has that ever happened? It's just no, first time.
He's not a child that wanders. He's not one that is
He doesn't have a history of being an eloper, which is common. And I have friends with children on the spectrum who do struggle with elopement with their children. But no, Sebastian, that's one thing. It's always been a blessing. He's not been an eloper or a runner. His primary areas are like social and emotional dysregulation issues and things like that.
Whoever is trying to call in, guys, hold off for a few minutes so we can go through some of this, and then I'll pick up that call, please.
Overall, he's a pretty angry that he's growing a mustache. But
Angry, bring a mustache.
and
That's something else I want to talk about real quick. Thank you for bringing that up again. I watched Dutchie's show last night. Listened to that. That's a big deal to me. Some people may think that saying 105 to 120 is not a big deal. It's a huge deal to me. I'm sorry. That screws up the entire flyer, guys. If you look at the flyer, 120 pounds. No, he's 105 pounds. And why is he 105 pounds at age 15? Second of all, which goes back to something that brought up that I thought was ridiculous at the point in the one show that Dutchie had where somebody asked about there being a lock on the refrigerator. I thought, well, that's kind of ridiculous. Is it now? Because it kind of sounds like, hey, what's up with that? I don't know, but the weight thing was a big deal to me. I'm sorry, but it really was.
Yeah. The more I think about it, the more it is to me too.
So I'm
Because
just saying.
if you think of the weights, okay, 120 is like an average, maybe 50, an average weight, maybe a little, whatever. But
Yeah.
105, that's like a small kid.
Yeah, and here's
and I was a small kid. I mean, so I probably weighed 110 pounds at 15. But 105, and I was athletic. But there's been no, I don't think this kid went out for sports or, anything like that. So why would he only weigh 105 pounds?
Well, and here's the thing. These medications, they do have the ability to cause eating issues. My son,
yes,
one of the medications he was on made him lose a bunch of weight because he didn't want to eat. The other medication he was on made him gain a bunch of weight. All he wanted to do was eat, okay? Based on what we were understanding was that if he didn't take his medication, he wanted to eat everything. And please correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that what was stated? Somebody asked, how was Sebastian when he hadn't been on his medication for a while? And I'm pretty sure that Chris said that he wanted to eat everything. It was like a human garbage disposal, word for word. Well, if he's 105, 108, whatever, 100 and whatever pounds, that would tell me that Sebastian hadn't been on his medication. Is that true?
And not wanting to eat.
Right. So what's up with this? Okay.
Therefore being underweight.
Right. Thank you, Kim. I think he's 5'4". Somebody correct. I can't remember. I'd have to look at the yeah. Internet again. Sorry about glitches, guys. My apologies. Mom told me he takes his meds in the morning and at night, but she didn't want to tell me what were.
Because it's against him.
It could be. It could be. But it's not really, though. It's up to you. It's your choice.
Yeah.
She's had these real bouts of secrecy about weird things, in my opinion. I'm not going to tell you how many pairs of shoes he had. All of those things. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So, hi. What's up, buddy?
Hey.
That was cool.
It was good. And by the way, good news. I am passing.
But that is good news.
I'm passing my momentum. I have 90% and 80%.
Good.
And also, I am doing a stake for my pottery project.
I know. You remember you telling me.
I can't make a fork.
Hold on with the calls, guys. Hold on, folks. 1 second.
Hayden, you're making a steak?
He has pottery that he takes, the new class we put him in, whatever, and that's he's making porcelain, whatever that material is,
Project.
food thing. We'll see. Good job with the other stuff with the grades. That's good to hear.
I just did like 4 assignments. I got a 70% and a 60%, which is literally passing.
Good. Now your mom's called. She's on her way home. So do you need to go get the clothes you need for tonight together?
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Okay. That way it's all ready to go.
I gotta get ready now.
You don't have to be there till 6.
Takes me 4 hours to get ready too.
Right.
I get distracted way too easy.
Right. He's got a band concert tonight, and he has to get ready. So anyway, um, Chris was also very upset when asked why he doesn't want Sebastian around his daughter, and that got to be a little bit weird. I thought, Arctic. I agree with that question, or that statement. Like, what? Why? Well, all the family agreed. There's some dark secret or something that causes that issue, or promotes that reasoning for that, or something. I don't know, but again,
And then he had anxiety about moving to his dad's.
yeah, strange reactions and things like that. It is okay. Guys, hold up the calls, please, until I take calls. If you can hear me, please don't call in until I'm ready to take the call again, folks. Okay. Happy birthday, Michael, and we'll get to that here at the end here. I appreciate you telling me that. Thank you very much. Happy birthday, Michael. Appreciate you, brother. I hope you have a great day. All right, let's move forward and get through this real quick then.
What are your theories? Like, I'm sure your mind just thought of every possible thing that could have happened, but is there any theory that you can talk about that you think?
What I can tell you is, with all law enforcement, with everybody that's involved, there's nothing that's been eliminated. Everything is on the table. Everything is being looked at from every possible aspect.
Everything from he got out and walked away and was outside of the search radius before we started searching to the worst. And
that's currently where we're at. I mean, it's
really try not to go down that road because we're gonna find him.
Speculating causes problems. Assumptions cause issues. And based on facts of what everybody knows, right now, there's nothing, and everything is still on the table to being looked at.
We just know he's out there somewhere.
One other question.
And that's what I was talking about her kind of checking out. She's there, but she's not there, if that makes sense to you guys. Yeah, guys, please, if you will, go over there, check out Arctic Fox True Crime, subscribe if you can. And of course, Dutch is for the missing. There's both links have been in chat there. I appreciate that very much.
I have is recently Channel 5 in Nashville, they had security footage that showed 2 flashlights the night he disappeared. Is there anything that you think about this video? Or
Sure. So there's a lot of speculations about that video that are floating on the internet. Okay. And that is exactly what it is. It's speculations. Now, what I can give you an official statement on is TBI Newslink has released a statement from law enforcement, between local law enforcement, state law enforcement, some federal law enforcement, and they have analyzed that video so many times over that everything that everybody is trying to assume is a flashlight, I hate to say this, it's not. As much as we would love it to be one, it's not. I'm not going to go into details as far as where that video is shot from, but I can tell you, as the parents, we have seen the video firsthand from law enforcement. We know exactly where it was taken from, and nothing that is being assumed right now is actually true about that video, unfortunately.
okay.
And anything about any other videos or anything like that, please refer to the TBI news link that they have out there, the updated Amber Alert stuff, and it will give you the most up-to-date information that all law enforcement has, and they will give you current as far as what's what and how they're looking at things.
And if there's any new video, forward it to them.
Please.
Yeah. Security footage is really like a game changer. We're working on Riley's strain and trying to find like if someone missed one on a corner or something. Oh, that's
Around this neighborhood, and this whole community. I mean, I can tell you that much here. When it comes to the cameras, there has not been one person that has said no. And trust me, it is greatly felt that everybody has been so open, so helpful in pushing out any which way they can. I mean, there's been some families that have actually been on vacation that weren't home, and they got they've got permission from that family to take a look at their cameras and go in their houses without them even being present, which has been amazing. So, but yeah,
that's good. If there was something that you could say to Sebastian if he was listening, what would you say?
Oh God. That if you can see this or hear this, that we just want you home, baby, and we love you. And there ain't nothing gonna stop us from coming and getting you and bringing you home.
I can't speak for his father, but I'm pretty sure we all have the same opinion that we love you, miss you, we want you home. And if you can, call us, get wherever you can, let us know, and we will come get you.
Call 911, run out into the street, go in public, anything. The signs that we've been blessed to have family, friends, and even some in the community that have been helping us. But we've been
I agree with that, Arctic Fox.
Even over state lines, trying to get awareness because, you know, not everybody knows that he's missing, and there's a chance that if someone could see him and not even realize who he is. So we want to get his face out there because we want him home.
Surprisingly, even locally, there are some folks that don't even know what's going on, and it's kind of like a shocker. Like, how do you not know? You know, it is amazing because in the past couple of weeks, you've got 2 cases. A 15-year-old boy that has vanished without a trace. You've got a 22-year-old 6'4" or 7" college kid from Missouri who has vanished without a trace. That's a huge significance here. That it's like, wow, how? So
It's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the college kid is from Missouri, I think.
Yeah, Missouri.
I can only imagine what his family is going through.
It's like your worst nightmare come alive.
Do you guys receive hate on the internet?
Yes, and it's ongoing. It's every single day. People are people, and they have their opinions. Everybody is formulating their idea of what's going on and who's guilty and who's not guilty because they want to know. They need to know. There's a difference. You're the family in this position, you're working with law enforcement, and everything's going the way it goes. People automatically assume this parent or that parent. And in this situation, I promise you, every parent has been vetted. I can't go into details, but I can tell you we have been vetted and we have been cleared of all possibility of wrong.
And according to Seth, nobody's been cleared, folks. I said that earlier, and that was interesting to me to hear that. So that's an interesting statement. why? I mean, that's not even that important at this point to talk about. Especially if you don't have any worries of your own about it, in my opinion. That's my thought, but it is what it is. Let me see here. I can only imagine. Go ahead. Go ahead.
That crane has like a hidden meaning for me. There's something with that crane, that toy crane.
I mean, it could. I don't know. You know, they could have. I'm sure Olivia wanted them to set up, you know, like to show his toys and a picture of him for you know, things like that. Why she chose that, nobody knows. You know, only they know. Let me see here. Where'd that go? Where'd that go? Where'd that go? Hold on a minute. Right.
Doing foul play. There's nothing to that. We've heard all kinds of.
I pretty much don't even go online anymore at this
Take
point.
care, Paula. Thank you for joining today.
I do go on, and I do talk to these folks, and I want them to understand they have this formulated opinion on who we are, not who we truly are. They've never met us. We've never crossed paths with some of these folks. But I have told them all online, if you want to know, just ask me. I'll answer your questions to the best of what I can. There are some things that I cannot give you because law enforcement has dictated that we are not to provide certain information. But I will try. I am direct, I am brash, but I am very respectful. So if you have questions, ask. I'll give you what I can. Just be respectful, please. And keep in mind, there's 3 parents and there's thousands and millions of people out there that may have a question. We are trying to get to them. I promise you.
How has your guys' life been affected by that? Like, I know that's a broad question, but what's like when you wake up in the morning, what's it just like?
Miserable, to be honest with you.
Think of it like this. You wake up every morning and your routine is what it is and you know it, right? Now wake up when this happens and you can't figure out what to do. You struggle every single day on trying to get out of the bed, to deal and face everybody's negativity, you know, and you try to make it a positive thing.
Or the fact that my son's still not home.
You know, we have a bedroom that's empty that is never normally ever empty, except for when he's with his dad every other weekend. So now we have a child that's missing. So
Just see
there's no words to describe.
Say again.
what Duchess just said.
Why didn't the mom reveal some of the information to me in the first 2 interviews? We find out she rode around. Yeah, that was a big deal. Like, why was that not talked about immediately?
Yeah, 20 years later.
Right. Thank you. Like, what's up with that? Was it something that they debated on talking about and then said, okay, here's what happened? Or I don't understand. Like, that's weird to me. A whole big deal, a bunch of weird to me. Sorry. Interesting as hell. Good point, Duchess. Good point.
But I can just tell you, it's like you get up and now you don't know what to do.
Sebastian's parents also talked about how his actions and behaviors could be different, or how he would respond in a new environment.
Well, that's kind of tricky because Sebastian has been on medication in 20 days. So he is rambunctious. He's going to be hungry. He turns into a bottomless pit. I mean, he's a teenage boy, you know, always hungry. On the spectrum, yes. But not one autistic child in this world is like another one. What we can tell you is he's smart. He can be goofy. He kind of has issues with personal space. He hasn't mastered
He can be
up in your face kind of kids.
he can be aggressive if he's upset.
Yeah. He's emotionally a teenager. He's
He
got
doesn't like punch and hit and throw. He gets really like aggressive stance or like click where he just won't talk to you or he's really upset. He like growls.
Sorry.
be vigilant. You know, and we don't expect everybody to stop what they do and spend every waking minute. But you would be surprised on how easily people are complacent and not realize certain things. We're all guilty because we're all human. We all live a daily life. But sometimes just being a little bit extra vigilant.
Aware of your surroundings in case there's something suspicious.
Now, that is something else that has been brought to my attention. My wife brought this up. A couple other people. One person that brought this up was and first of all, Polly's a retired law enforcement officer as well in the UK, but still, a lot of these people understand that certain things you look at when somebody's being interviewed, if they do not face you, this is a thing that my wife pointed out too, because there's a thing with that. If they face directly towards you, look at you, talk to you, you're okay. They're comfortable with this situation. If they do not face you directionally or look at you, there's issues in that aspect. Okay. Remember that, folks. That goes right along with the body language thing and all the other stuff. So good point to bring up, Polly. Seriously, good point. So, and I've had issues with that always. Every interview. Okay. I know we covered the behavioral panel with this. They didn't really point a lot of things out in that aspect, but I think that there's a lot of things that can be blanketed with emotions, if you know what I'm trying to say, like can be covered up with emotions, if that makes any sense. When you're paying attention to the emotions that are being expressed, you're going to see that over top of other things and use that as a background for that in some senses. I understand, Victoria, and I know your direction on this, and I respect that. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And I don't expect anybody to disagree. I don't want you guys going back and forth at and not just you, Victoria, but anybody, because people disagree about things. That's perfectly fine and respectful. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I have issue with her full facial expressions and would like to see an interview with. And I said that last night. I was talking to somebody else. I would love to see. I think me and Doodle were talking. I would love to see them interviewed separately, completely separate.
Yes.
2 separate interviews, I think, would be a whole thing, folks. I think it would change a lot of things, and
Yes.
I'd love to see that. I doubt that it'll ever happen. I doubt it, but I would love to see that. So,
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
good points, guys. Good points. 1 second here. Let me check something. Okay, yeah, we're gonna jump to that right after this. By the way, thank you, Brandy. In regards to Riley Strain, the dam and all that kind of stuff, the searches are underway at this point, based on that new stuff. So we'll get through this, some more questions, and then I'm gonna hit the jump into Riley Strain situation here. So hang out, guys, if you're interested in that.
You never know. But don't ever stop is all we ask. Please keep looking, keep searching. Anything, reach out. You know, doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely keep his story in the spotlight, and all it takes is for one person to see something or know something, and that's just that one clue.
The old saying, see something, say something.
and a few others, but we're working with everyone we can. And taking, like, some people have been kind and reached out with resources that I didn't know were out there, and I've reached out to all of them.
She looks bored.
Trafficking, we reached out to them just in case.
Biker world, that's one thing everybody has in common is their love for a child, and they can't stand to see children missing, hurt, and it doesn't matter who it is, doesn't matter what group it is. That's one commonality between every group, and that's why as a part of being in that world, we go and we utilize our brothers and sisters to help spread that word. You'd be surprised on how easy it is to spot somebody. The biker. So,
how can people help?
This community, I'm gonna tell you right now, far and wide, multiple communities, counties, various people, some people in other states reach out either through social media, in person. But
thanks, Dutchie. Be careful out there, and thanks for jumping in with us today.
They're constantly looking. They're constantly giving us ideas. Hey, check this. What about this? All of that is great.
Report anything that could potentially, even if it's little.
Doesn't matter what it is. However, what we can ask is that instead of people assuming and trying to put negative out there, just try to stay with the facts and report all the things that are positive. Any ideas that may help, trust me, all law enforcement are available and they are looking at everything.
Yes, Chris is a crane
Sebastian
operator.
Rogers is still missing. If you know something, say something. Chronicles of Olivia.
Guys, we need to get the flyers downloaded if you have the ability to get them out there, no matter where you're at. It doesn't matter. Like I said, he could be in Alaska at this point. We don't know. Just to say that it's out there. Okay. Period. Now, damn it. Hey, there's Mama Bear. So that's a good point. Very good point. I got to get the TBI link again. I had it the other day and I need to go back and find it for myself personally. So I will do that here soon and I will post it on my community page for you guys as well. If she had another man. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up, guys. I've had an issue. I was going through their Facebook pages the other day. Doodle pointed something out to me and I was just kind of like, thank you, Harsh. Post that, please. Very much appreciated. No, I don't, Lou. I don't believe there was a sighting. I was going through Chris's Facebook page. Based on, like I said, Doodlebug said, hey, check this out. And I did. And I don't shame people for their personal lives. It has nothing to do with their personal preferences. Is their personal preferences, is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, I went through Katie's Facebook as well. I didn't see the things I saw on Chris's, and it caught my attention only because, yeah, if we can get that link, if one of the mods has that link, if you want to post it in here, it would be greatly appreciated. Seriously. So here's the thing. I'm scanning through his Facebook and something popped up and caught my attention, and it was kind of like, wait a minute, whoa. And it's I hate putting this out there, but I started thinking about it. Okay. And it could mean something in a sense. There's something on there called kinky ads. Okay. And it's a website app type thing that you go to for, it says on there connections and stuff, but I think they called it like a something page, back page or something like that. They referred to it as, okay. And I was just like, okay. Which is kind of like a dating website in a sense. And, you know, of course, Katie answered that question when asked if she had been on a dating website. She jumped up real quick and spoke out loud. No one ever had, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Okay, fine. But he's got one on his Facebook page. Now, here's the deal with this, guys. This is the only thought and why I thought it was kind of important that it came to my mind. If for instance, there was some type of an interaction on there that got somebody else upset, and they decided they wanted to hurt somebody. A good way to do that is to go after their child. Okay. And that was why that came to me as being an important reference. Other than that, no, it's not. Your personal preference is your personal preference. I don't care about that. Okay. Well, I care about Sebastian, and that's what I'm saying. It caught my attention because of that. Didn't mom have a lover? Saw something he wasn't supposed to. I mean, I've seen that asked before, Michelle. I don't know. I don't know at all. And that's what Doodle said before. Hell hath no fury like a scorned woman. We know he'd been married 5 times. We don't know the ins and outs of that as to why. He maybe that's his personality. Maybe he's had issues with those secondary relationships in the past. I don't know, you guys. I just don't know. But those are things that really caught my attention, that's there. So, and then I go look at Katie's. There's nothing like that there. I don't know if they were both into it that way. If it was a thing that they did together, if it was just him and it was an issue. I don't know, you guys. None of these things are known, but that was the one thing that really did catch my attention. It was like, that's off. And I just don't get it. Thank you again, War Eagle. I appreciate that so very much. And that's true, though. That is true. Seth stated, and asked how long these two had been together. Seth said that they were together before him and her got divorced. So there's that. Things just happen sometimes. Again, I don't want those things to overshadow the fact that Sebastian is the most important thing. But sometimes those things are the reasonings behind some things that go on in these cases. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't know, Carrie. It was just people asking if maybe she was on a dating website, that she was possibly seeing somebody else. I don't know where the question actually came from, but I mean, that's the only thought I would have with it. But yeah, it was an interesting catch on there. And I thank you again, Doodle, for popping that and showing that to me, because I was like, whoa, wait a minute. And I checked it out. I went to the app, loaded it in, this and that. There was a couple questions as to was it a real thing? And it is. So there's the link right there. Thank you, Mama Bear. That is the link, guys. Click on that, download that. That will allow you to pull all that stuff up for you to be able to do that. And if you guys have the ability, print out some flyers, put them up. I don't care where you're at. Like I said, he could be anywhere right now. I wouldn't put it past that, because we saw that story about that other autistic child that walked 200 miles. Okay. And came back perfectly fine. And that is a possibility here. He could be in Alaska. He could be in Hawaii. In the amount of time that's passed, he could have been picked up by somebody, driven somewhere, taken. It could be anywhere. So please, if you have that ability, print out the flyers, put them up wherever you're at. It's not going to hurt anything. It's just a couple pieces of paper. I'm trying to be as respectful as possible, Kim, and that's why I'm saying it like that. I definitely try to keep as much respect in things as I can. So it just doesn't seem to be one of them things nowadays, Doodle. I know it's very sad, but it does happen. Arctic says 5 marriages, and he's the common denominator, just like my father-in-law, and he's a real piece of work. And I know what you mean, bro. I get it. I do. It's just not a thing anymore. I've been married to my wife 23 years, guys, and I don't even think about anything else. You know what I'm saying? So not everybody's the same. That has no bearing on anything. I get it. But where'd you go, Tomboy? I just tagged you in a post about Sebastian, the lights on camera for the neighbors. I don't know. Okay. Thank you very much, Shelly. I appreciate that. Yeah.
I mean, as much as we do see out there, though, Dago, I just have to say, like you said, you've been married to your wife for 23 years. Like, chivalry isn't dead.
No, not at all. Again, the creature, I was married to the creature for 9.5 years. We ended that scenario. Thank God. I met the love of my life. And here we are. I wouldn't trade this for anything. You can give me anything you want in the world. I would never walk away from this scenario. I don't care. Right. And after those 20 some odd years, I think I'm off by a couple of years too, because I get the dates we got together and the date we got married mixed up. Thank God she's not here right now. But
Typical man.
I still get, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I still get butterflies on my stomach every time she walks in the door, when she's been at work, when it this now. I mean, it's the same thing, folks. It just doesn't go away. It never will, as far as I'm concerned. So, yes, Lou the creature. I'm sure every one of us has had some form of the creature in our lives at one point, but it's sad. Their story changes daily. The truth never changes. The bottom line, Sebastian was seen going into the house on Sunday on video, but no video of him leaving. The only way, thank you. That's what the biggest issue's been, Christine. There's nobody seeing him going out of that house. And they've stated, Chris has stated multiple times, the house has been gone through multiple times too. Where did he go? Where's he at, folks? I want to know where this child is. I need to know where this child is. He needs to come home.
Not a
And
good
somebody needs to, the grandmother made a post and said, or phoned in on a live stream and said, whatever you know, or whatever it is what information, you need to put it out there, Katie. You need to talk about it. That said something to me. Like, the grandmother really suspects that these people know something. Okay.
And this
There's
is
got to be. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This is Seth's mom, correct?
Yes, Seth's mother.
Yeah.
There's got to be a reason she thinks that, other than just being the ex's mother. Okay.
Yeah.
There's something there. You say she's the creature, but her story is you are the OV. I have no idea what that means, but okay. It's okay. No problem. Doodle. To get it was 65 years, 306 per day has been with 12 years. Exactly, Arctic. Exactly. I'll be the ogre. That's okay. I'll be the ogre. Doesn't matter. Yeah, Bonnie, that's the facts. If there is anything out there, it needs to happen. Something tells me that the debunked middle of the night lights were more than they claim. It's very possible, SRB. Like, even though Ellie has stated that it, TBI is nothing, I believe it very well could be something. Maybe not that serious, but something. Let's see here. Their cars are in the garage. In my opinion, Sebastian was put into stepdad's vehicle and dumped between Henderson and Memphis. Well, according to what we've been told, Christine, Chris was in Memphis for weeks before that. So not to say he didn't come home, but I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah, Sherry's saying the blacked out video was a different date. So, that's another thing too. Another good point there, SRB. Law enforcement does funny things to make things happen their way. So that's fact too. So I agree with everything you guys are saying. You guys are having some really good input today, and I appreciate it very much so. Very, very much so. And that's what this was about, It is interesting that TBI said putting that info out there could be dangerous to the investigation. They also hopped on YouTube right after doing an interview. Yes, very much so. Very, very much so. Trev said that the lights were a vehicle and two people with flashlights. Ellie investigating the car. In my opinion, was stepdad, mom, company vehicle. Could be.
Have they said that the house has been completely searched?
They have said it has. Yes, they have.
Confirmed by law enforcement.
I've never heard law enforcement state it, but they have definitely stated yes, it's happened. So,
For sure.
and yeah, he has claimed that he can prove that he was out of town. We've not seen that, but he stated that. So, and right, Lou says another TBI no can do. Okay then. Maybe he called his papa, was scared about something he heard in the middle of the night in regards to their phone call. Possible, very possible. Yeah, he did. He said that like 10 times. I agree with that one. Let's see here. And stepdad didn't leave to come home until Ellie started asking questions. Right. Good point. Good point. Very good point.
We want to take you right now to
1 second. All right, guys. To survives, and he's just, in my opinion, with the hubs. Started watching you at night with me. Good to hear. Thank you, Harsh. I appreciate that very much. All right, guys, I'm going to jump this in real quick and get caught up on this too. If there's any other questions, we can go back to those. Thank you very much for joining us, Arctic. I appreciate it again. And guys, for anybody that hasn't, please check out Arctic Fox True Crimes channel. It's a great channel. Great person. He does great stuff over there, and I appreciate you very much for everything you do, Arctic. And thank you very much for jumping in here with us today. You, sir, have a great rest of your day, and I will hopefully we'll interact here again soon, sir. Thanks again. All right, this is we're gonna jump into some updates on Riley Strain's situation if we can. There it is. Thank you for that link again, Terry. Appreciate that very much. That's another point too. Somebody else said that to me. Lou Hellickson says, are they signaling each other discreetly during the interview? Somebody else asked me that question if I thought that was happening because of different eye movements and different things that were going on. I looked and tried to catch it. Other than seeing Chris look at her in a certain way a couple times, I didn't really see that, but you never know. You never know. So, all right, guys, let's check this out here and see what we're hearing. This is from 3 hours ago. Updates in regards to this. Absolutely. Thank you, Michelle. And I agree. Arctic Fox is amazing, guys. So check it out.
I'm Amanda Hera, and this is Jordan James and Brendan Tierney. And we're starting a new show here on WSMV that you can watch on our live stream that's called Behind the Story. And so every week we're going to try and talk to the reporters who have been covering the big story for their take on what's happening behind the scenes and just to take a deeper dive. So insight and context you wouldn't normally get from their quick reports that we run during the newscast. So today we are focusing on the continued search for Riley Strain, and Brendan and Jordan have both played pretty instrumental roles in the newsroom covering the search for him. And so we want to start a little bit with the timeline here. I mean, Brendan, you've kind of been on this from day one. What day are we stretching into now? Because March 8th is when he disappeared.
Yeah, today is now day 12 of that search effort. Riley, he disappeared on March 8th at about 10 p.m. was that last sighting Metro Police had of him, but they didn't report him missing until the Saturday at about 1:40 in the afternoon. So there's a bit of a different timeline here of the search effort between when he was last seen versus when Metro Police actually started that search effort for Riley. But it's just been such an awful process, especially for his family involved in all this, just looking for answers.
And you've been covering this, especially for the morning show for us, Jordan. How have you seen the search evolve from day one to here? What's changed about it?
So initially it was just his mom and dad, stepdad. So immediate family were out, out there trying to canvass among the Cumberland River. But in the coming days, as a result of this case starting to generate a lot of national attention, a lot of folks from social media, TikTok, have gone out there to try to take measures into their own hands. And we learned on yesterday that the Cajun Navy is now involved. So the Cajun Navy is out there on top of Metro Police and the Office of Emergency Management. So they're focusing specifically on the area around the Cumberland River as a result, because that was the last place that he was seen on camera, which has led to this mystery about where is he at.
And this is some of that video of that the last piece of video that we've been able to find that captures him on camera, we were just showing it to you there. It's an interaction between Riley Strain and an officer. And by all accounts, it seems very casual, very normal, and very different from some of these other videos we've seen earlier in the night where he's just kind of stumbling down the road.
And that's why Metro Police say they put out that body camera video finally, is because they
And
say
this is
that
it right
in
here.
this video right here, you're able to see Riley. He'll be on the left part of the screen as he walks by the officer. He's highlighted there. They say that he doesn't look like he's in distress. They told us that he's walking normally and had a very brief, just hello, hi, how are you doing type of conversation with that Metro Police officer who didn't think anything was up. And that's part of the reason Metro Police say at this point, Amanda, it appears that there's no foul play involved, because it doesn't look like anything bad was happening to Riley.
Right. And they also went on to say, you know, there have been so many people chattering on social media about, well, he was running. It looked like he was running away from something in that other video. And so police said, you know, part of the reason we shared this piece of video is to show you that when our officer saw him, nobody was chasing him. There didn't seem to be any like foul interaction with anybody else. He looked perfectly fine by all accounts from that Metro officer. One of the things that we had talked about before we went live with you all just now is, you know, what are some of the biggest takeaways about the story? And I think all of us can agree that this has garnered national attention. And that means a lot of people are coming into Nashville to try to help with the search.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's not just social media influencers. It's just regular people who live here. And one of the discoveries, Jordan, was pretty instrumental for this investigation.
Yes, that's right. Two women from TikTok. Like I said, they took measures into their own hand and they canvassed the area around the Cumberland River and went out to the embankment area. And they were actually live streaming at the time when they looked down and they found Riley's bank card. At the time, there had been no type of physical evidence. We knew that he was last seen near the Cumberland River, but police said on yesterday, as of now, that's the only physical evidence that we have. And something that stood out to me when we interviewed those women, they said something had to be found. And that's one of the reasons why they went out there, because they wanted to try to help out with this investigation somehow.
Yeah, let's hear from them directly.
We understand that law enforcement here is
doing the best they can.
Doing the best they
with
can.
Resources they have.
Yeah, that they're understaffed, but that doesn't mean that we don't need more help. And right now it's extremely important for us to keep Riley out there, Riley's face, Riley's name, Riley's family. We really want to emphasize this on Riley.
So another big piece of the story that's unfolding now is the focus on other bars downtown. The TABC coming out and saying, all right, you know what? We've already checked in with Luke Bryan's bar. That's part of the investigation. That's where he was kicked out of.
Exactly, Doodle.
He
Thank
had
you.
a beer there and 2 waters. Where else was he served alcohol that night before he was kicked out of the bar? And does that play into the investigation?
And that's something we pressed Metro Police about yesterday at the press conference. They weren't willing to tell us what other bars Riley was at. They simply said that they're going to eventually go back and review all that video that they have collected of where he was. Metro Police want to instead focus on from the last point he was seen going forward. But we know there are other bars involved. A TABC spokesperson yesterday told me that every other bar that they have talked with is cooperating with this investigation. They're not sure exactly how long it will take for this investigation to wrap up, but they do intend on sharing the copy of that final investigation report with us once it is finally published. Just no timeline on exactly when that would happen. There's a Class A misdemeanor possible for any bar that overserves someone in the state of Tennessee. That's why this has been brought forward as a TABC investigation. And something that stood out to me, his mom kind of gave us some perspective about how his fraternity brothers are taking it. She said they are just as heartbroken as we are. You know, up at this point in time, we haven't heard much from them, but she said they are taking his heart and, you know, they were trying to share Riley's image and try to continue to garner more support in order to try to bring him home.
I think bottom line, we know that this has been so distressing for family and friends. We heard from the parents just yesterday.
I mean, they're heartbroken also. I mean, he's their best friend.
What Doodle was talking about, guys, it relates to Sebastian's case. I'll explain it here shortly. There was somebody that intervened in his the search for him that shouldn't have, and she was causing some issues, sending people in the wrong directions and just purposely making mistakes. And her name is Carrie Foster, Kerrie Foster. We looked her up and looked into her, and it's interesting. And it was another direction we were looking at with Sebastian in some sense too. So that's what she's talking about. Just so you guys know, and it relates to Sebastian, not this side of things. So that's all.
And we love these boys like our own. And it's just as hard on them as it is on us.
And right now, we
I
really
feel so
are
bad for his mother.
Focusing on bringing Riley home.
His last point.
He's my best friend. He's everything.
You know, there have
Agreed,
been
War Eagle, she
questions,
is.
again, chatter on social media, people asking questions, and of course, we take that to police or the appropriate person for answers. And one of the questions is, okay, well, if police are doing this big, massive search, why didn't they find the debit card that was, you know, on the banks of the Cumberland River? And we heard from the family yesterday.
Good
you know,
Lord,
they're
Jesse,
frustrated,
thank you for
but
that.
they also have confidence in what police are doing.
Yeah, I asked his stepfather, Chris, specifically about that during the press conference yesterday. He said that
It's okay, Diddle.
left in the dark a little bit during this investigation, but they understand that because as police are investigating something, there's information they can't always share out there. When Metro Police were asked about that yesterday, they talked a lot about how they can't
Exactly, Cat Lady. That's normal acting there.
down the line. They couldn't possibly risk that investigation, risk a prosecution and probable cause if they were to bring charges in the future. At this point, still saying no foul play involved. They're expecting it to just be a missing persons case, but they don't want to put too much information out there. Family says they very much trust in police right now, but there's a lot of chatter on social media about this, and that's a big thing that police even addressed yesterday.
It almost seems to be like this convergence between volunteers and police have the training and the.
All right, guys. Now there's something else I wanted to show you because there's nothing really else going on in that conversation there that's any of it. There's something else I want to put up and show you guys real quick that was brought to my attention last night that was interesting. Let me see here if I can get this up and running. This came out of TikTok, just so you guys know. I don't know the relevance 100%, but it was interesting. It was something new that I had not heard until I saw this. And, you know, I don't know what the deal is with it, but I'm going to make sure it's loud enough and everything works. Is it going to work? Hold on here. Come on. Hold on. I know it. I'm going to make sure it's going to. Make sure it's going to work. 1 second here. Oh, well, maybe. It's not playing now, Brandy. Oh, wait. Well, okay, it's not playing, but this is saying this is the part of the body cam or the video where it shows him he's talking to someone else, and it states that you hear him get into a car, okay, and you can hear the car, and I can't get it to play now. No. Let me try it this way and see what happens. Hold on. Work or not? Nope, it won't play for me. Damn it.
Dago.
Yep.
Right before I came, saw you on live, JLR was out there, and he was filming, like he was at the the edge or the ledge of the embankment, and it's like he said that it's like a 30 to 40 foot drop.
Right.
And that's around the area that his debit card was found. He was also searching, saying, you know, he ran into a local guy and said that this local guy said that there's some dangerous people that are without a home, that are, you know, staying there, sleeping there, and they have dogs as well. He said that, you know, some of the homeless people are quite dangerous.
Yeah, and give you a real quick Cletus and Clue about that way too. And Cletus kind of looked back at something and said that this is real close to the detention center there. Okay. And that it's the
Yes.
area that they release these people from the jail at all times of the day and night. And they go on foot, and he could have
Yeah.
encountered somebody in that sense too.
Yeah.
So this is live at the Cheatham Dam where they're at right now, searching per se.
And yeah, and I was gonna say, I think there's gonna be a major search today because JLR was live and he saw a bunch of boats with a bunch of law enforcement out on the water already. And then where the police, kind of in the area where the police officer had the interaction with Riley, it was like kind of the what's it called? The command center was kind of set up there.
Right.
Yeah. And so there was just a bunch of, a lot of law enforcement, visibility there. And also, this is also not far from the Titans Stadium.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, those, professional stadiums are in a, not so good part of town.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, and it's because, the stadium draws a lot of people, and the more people you have, the more crime you're going to have. So that's just how it goes.
Yes.
You're going to get like what are they called? Like squatters and lawyers and
Sure thing. Yeah.
Stuff like that.
This search right now is live. They shut the dam down. Okay. So that there's no flow. And they're looking right now. Let me see.
And JLR said that, it's like a 30 to 40 foot drop, and the river was like about 4 foot higher than it is today.
Right.
On that day. And it had been like raining on and off that day or whatever.
Yeah, that's what Cletus had said. It was raining the day before and that day.
And I don't
ahead.
know about anyone else, but I honestly just think that I think he was slipped something at the bar. I think he was disoriented. I think he left, and Scarlett and I kind of think the same. The more I listen to Scarlett and how she came to her conclusion about him being in the water, the more I agree with her.
Yeah, and I've been in that boat myself with it because of the way he was acting when he left the bar. It just seems like it very well could have been, or he could have been slipped something at one of the previous bars he was at before he got to that bar, and it kicked in, and that's why he had the interaction he had.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. What I'm showing you right now, Debbie, is the live stream. I'll turn the volume back on of them doing that search right now. As they're dropping they shut the dam down so they can do this, and they are looking for him as we speak live right now.
And then I was also researching, and there was a missing 28-year-old that went missing from there 2 years ago, and was found 10 miles down the river.
Right. I saw that one as well. I've looked for a few of them. This happens a lot down through here, believe it or not, guys. A whole lot.
We've been looking for Riley, we found 2 bodies in the water that are not.
Exactly. Yep.
How many bodies are in the water? Like, that is.
I can imagine if they completely drained this. Good Lord, that's all I can say.
Well, and yeah, like a bunch of if a bunch of the homeless people are living around there, like, a lot of accidents could happen. It's dark out there. If you're impaired or even just stumble, and then, Scarlett was explaining, if you know anything about currents,
definitely. Well, if you look at and you believe the story with, for those of you that may not know this, I covered last year the Nicola Bully case. She ended up, they're stating the current drug her down and around, but there's a dam there that she couldn't have made it over, and she ended up being literally like right down the river there and never went that far in all of that time. So, yeah, right. Mama Bear's talking about when Lake Mead dried up. they found a whole bunch of bodies in there. It happens, folks. It happens, So, and that's my thought too. If he's in the river, I think he is quite a ways down there too, Lisa, because of the rain and the current. With the dam opened up and all that stuff, 100%. And that's why they shut the dam down, was to be able to slow everything down and get in here and get a good look at this. They said on JLR that the water was 14 foot higher when he went missing, 100%. And that's what they're doing, guys. When they shut the dam down, it's going to lower the water level to the point where something can come up out of the bottom of that, if possible. You see these tanks over here, right? Those should be submerged right now. So that's how much lower the water is.
Yeah, and you should have seen this big, I don't know what if it was barge or whatever. It was a huge like ship almost, like going through this water. And
yeah.
The waves that it created was absolutely like just like
100%. So yeah, see this, guys, this all should be submerged right now. And it's not, because they dropped the water level down quite a bit, as you can tell, and the riverbanks are now exposed. And I think that's why they're doing this, because if you drop the water level down, something that was or could be sitting in here is going to get stuck on the bank as the water level drops. And I think that's what they're hoping for, unfortunately. I've had a bad feeling about this from the beginning.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, of how they're going to find him. And I feel so bad for this family. So bad.
Yeah, it was just
for whatever reason, they are focused on this area. They must have some form of intel that told them to do what they're doing right here, or they wouldn't be at this point, I don't think.
Right.
Yeah, Jillian, right. It was like 20 days, 100%. I agree, Moonlit. I feel so bad because in one sense, I do want them to find him, but I pray to God that they don't find him like this, because
WFLA now will begin.
The parents they don't deserve this.
I'm mixed on whether I think foul play was involved. And until
Me too.
And until law enforcement comes out with what actually,
I'm kind of like in the middle of that. It could be that because of the intoxication that he just had an accident and fell in, or something like that happened. But at the same time, I'm also feeling like he could have been attacked and or mugged or robbed and somebody hurt him. You know what I mean?
Because the black sedan.
Right. Speaking of which, while we're holding off on this, I'm going to go ahead and bring this up. Sherry said she got it for me. I don't know why the other one didn't work, but we'll get it here. Hold on a minute.
I got proof
Hold
that
on.
Riley Strain got in this black
Yep, that's what you guys
car
heard.
or a car.
1 second, guys.
Oh yeah, I want to hear this.
Right.
Oh no, it is the college student that was partying in Nashville and was kicked out of the club and went missing. And
Hold up.
it's been strange.
Why can't I get this up here? I need you to clear. All right, hold on, guys. 1 moment. All right, let's check this out here. For those of you that didn't see this,
I got proof that Riley Strain got in this black car or a car. Riley Strain, for those who don't know, is the college student that was partying in Nashville and was kicked out of the club and went missing, and it's been strange things ever since. Now, a lot of people on social media are speculating and talk about this black car that keeps being seen following him throughout all the surveillance. This is the street he walked down. There goes the black car again. Now, this is another shot. Now, in the video of the body cam of the cops, you see Riley is running down the street. When the cop turns to him, Riley slows down. They have an interaction. He says, "How you doing?" "I'm fine." Then the cop proceeds to continue walking. Riley goes the other way. Now, when he goes the other way, there's a black car, and then there's this gray car, as you see, putting the brakes on. Now, you got to listen closely. The 19-second mark, you hear somebody say, "Hey, come on," or something, and you hear Riley say something about getting a car, or is the car something. Then at the 28-second part of this video, you hear the door shut, clear as day. Listen to this and tell me what you think. I don't know if he got in that silver car or maybe the black car, which explains why when the cop turned around, everybody's like, "Well, where did he disappear to if he just walked past him?" Check this out. Now, when you look, when it swings around, watch, you go in the distance over here, you're going to see Riley running. See him? You hear his feet. You see the gray car and that black car.
How you doing, sir? Good. How are you?
Listen.
Good.
Door slam coming. Now, when the cop turns back around, you don't see Riley. He had to get in a car. No Riley. He had to get in the car.
That was interesting. I'll say that much. Annie Ruler Welcome says, "I bet it was his friends, altered time of and location frat model." Well, that made you. Jody says that's been debunked. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I don't know about that.
But why would you get in the car with somebody that you don't know? I mean,
of course. I didn't hear anything either, but that doesn't mean it wasn't there.
I get it. He was impaired, but I mean,
right.
I have to be very, very impaired to get
And that's my other side of that. Like what Amy says, they found his debit card down by that area there. How would it? You know what I mean? Those two don't match. So
yeah.
Unless somebody else had it and went down there, you know, that if he was robbed and they had a hold of it somehow. But I don't know, guys. That's tricky. I'll say that. It's interesting. I appreciate that, Brandy and Sherry, but it's definitely tricky. Yeah, he if he fell in how the debit card stayed into the people who found the girl Kylie in that lake, are they able to locate vehicles and body? That's what they did, but I don't know that group is still together. Oh, I think they are, Bombshell, but I don't know.
I think Jared is.
Well, here's another thing. Let me put this out there. If Riley was running from somebody that he had a fear of, there's a police officer standing right there. Why would you not turn to that cop and say, "Hey, they're trying to hurt me.
I need help.
They're chasing me. There's something." That makes no sense. You see what I'm saying? He was right there. And he didn't. He just said he was fine. He acted perfectly fine. He straightened up and said, "I'm good." If somebody was chasing me, threatening me, or trying to force me into a car, saying, "They're trying to be," you know what I mean? So that's why I have an issue with that whole thing right there. But it is interesting to see. He sounded okay saying hi to cops, stubborn up friends, tired of him. Anything's possible, Annie, at that point, right? Yeah, he sounded fine at that point. I don't know what happened. It's
I can sound fine too when I'm completely trashed, though, too.
I've said that,
I'm telling you, if I'm drunk and a cop comes my way, I'm going to have a normal conversation with that cop.
Absolutely, I've done it.
And then as soon as I'm done with that cop, I'm gonna let it all out. Everything I was holding in.
I got pulled over one time shouldn't been driving, but I did long time ago. And
Yeah.
he knew I had been drinking, okay? And he said, this, that, and everything else. And I was really good and I got out of it. The point
Yeah.
is people do what they have to do at points in times like that to handle that situation. So I don't know, guys. I don't know.
If I'm in trouble, however, if I'm in trouble and I see law enforcement, whether I'm drunk or not, I'm going to ask for help.
100%. 100%, because then you feel that there's that safety of that police officer.
Yes. And if I was in trouble and I was Riley, I'd be like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so glad I found you. Like, can you help me?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hold on a minute here.
But I'm still going to listen and chat, but I got to jump down because I got to get ready for work. So.
I'm great, hon. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you very much.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I will see you later.
Yes, ma'am. Have a great day, and don't work too hard today.
I'll try not. Bye-bye.
Absolutely. Yep. Okay. Let's see.
We have a live
All right, here we go. Sorry about that.
in Nashville, where the search has been stepped up this morning. We have a team of reporters
Thank you, Cat Lady.
covering the search at this hour. Staying here in Nashville, Metro Police are searching by water and in the air for that missing college student, Riley Strain. Here, News 2's Peyton Kennedy is live from Riverfront to explain what the search effort is looking like at this hour. Peyton.
Yeah, Nicole, this is the most official activity we have seen along the riverfront in about
Thank you,
a
Sherry.
week. I have seen 2 Metro Police Department boats on the water, as well as an Office of Emergency Management boat on the water. They have their investigators on those boats and along the riverfront here on the ground. Now, the boats on the water have been surveying up and down the river. They've also specifically been circling around the James Robertson Parkway bridge post that is closest to Gay Street. It's a very steep cliffside here that they have been looking up at. It's the last point that Riley's phone pinged before he went missing. The OEM says they're here at the request of the MMPD. I've seen OEM officials as well huddling around a map of the Cumberland River. I'm also told that there have been drones that will be used today. The police department tells me their efforts are a continuation of yesterday's work. They will also have helicopters and assistance from the Cheatham County Sheriff's Office. And beyond that, I have seen multiple spectators this morning who have been walking up and down the riverfront, live streaming, taking photos and videos. And now another group is here. They're hanging up missing persons flyers for Riley. So we will keep you posted on this from all angles. Live in Nashville, Peyton Kennedy, News 2.
Thank you, Peyton. And the family of Riley Strain remains in Nashville talking with officials. And this morning, we're learning about a significant meeting with the mayor. Allie Lynch is at the WKRN.com alert desk with those details now.
Well, Nicole, that's right. As of this morning, we know Riley's parents had a sit-down meeting with Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell. Now, what was discussed in that meeting, we're still working to find out. Riley's dad told News 2 they had a meeting with Mayor O'Connell sometime yesterday. The mayor's office released a statement saying, in part, the mayor invited Riley Strain's family to meet, but out of respect to Riley's family and their desire for privacy, the mayor's office will not be commenting on any discussions the mayor had with the family. Nicole?
Riley's family has also enlisted help from the United Cajun Navy to help them organize search parties. The group is made up of volunteers and usually responds to natural disasters across the country.
For the people here in Nashville, keep your eyes open, keep your ears open. If you see anything that might help us locate Riley, by all means, reach out to the United Cajun Navy or reach out preferably to the Nashville Police Department. And if you know anything about this, please come forward and say so.
At this time, police said there is still no evidence pointing to foul play. We'll continue to show you the newest video as police work to find Riley. You can see all of our continuing coverage at WKRN.com.
Their most recent, excuse me, tweet was 17 hours ago, and it was about Riley Strain. It was helicopter video. And their strategy has been, in large part, to allow their Twitter page.
What's up, Twiz?
Communication. It has been perhaps unorthodox to many out there, given that we haven't really had that.
This is them live searching right now.
Here and there, of course, but certain stories, when they reach a certain level of attention, it becomes almost the expected norm that press conferences are done daily.
Hey, Scarlett, thanks for joining today. It's good to see you.
Given how there haven't been any updates on this story, given how there's been such little that we're getting from law enforcement, perhaps they are only calling a press conference for a major development. So I would say this. If Metro Nashville
Hold on,
press conference at this stage, at this point now that we're almost 2 weeks into this, it's you would imagine your mind would immediately go to this being a significant update, not just a routine update. The routine updates have come from Twitter. A press conference would be a significant development. And we have not received any word about any press conference happening anytime soon. The family had a press conference yesterday. And really, that's them keeping hope alive.
I am. Thank you so much. I hope you are as well, Scarlett.
They get answers. Somehow they get answers.
I don't, Michael, just because there's not a lot of proof for sure that happened. You know what I mean? I think it's more obvious that he went down that bank, possibly, after interacting with that officer. That's my opinion, though.
Burping, quote unquote, burping the river at the Cheatham Dam, a basic shutdown of the waterway, which allows anything near the river to float to the top. So I'd never heard of that term, burping the river. The idea that if you shut down the waterway and limit the amount of water in that area, you're allowing things.
I agree, Jody.
And anything else to float up to the top.
Hey, Willie boy, what's happening, brother? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. It's been a while. Great to see you here. Hope to see you around more often. Hope everything's going well for you, sir. And do me a favor, tell Dinky to get in touch with me. Needed to talk to him as soon as I can. Welcome, Gad Deguchi.
All the way to the dam. The dam is not close to Nashville, folks. Not close. It's a long way.
Thanks for joining me, Willie. Good to see you, sir.
On stream to describe the likelihood that if something terrible had happened to Riley, whether intentional or unintentional, and he ended up in the river, what is the likelihood that he could make it all the way to the dam in 12 days' time? There are so many factors that come into
I think it's very likely with the way the river was rushing.
Being one of them. The condition of the remains being another, also has to be stated. But wildlife, if it's human remains, look, it's a grim topic, but there's going to be a wildlife component to it as well,
right?
And so, and for the again grim topic. So viewer discretion is advised, but. Depending on the condition of the remains. How likely is it the remains would end up in
It's a good
the
point, Wiz. That's what I'm saying. It's hard to
there's
differentiate,
a lot of
honestly.
places you can clearly see, even on with these bridges, a lot of different places where.
Thanks, Willie. I appreciate that, brother.
Especially with someone being, if Riley was still fully clothed at the time of submersion, you're talking about his clothes potentially getting caught on anything on the bottom of the river surface or on something in the way like the pillar of a bridge. There's a lot of different obstacles between him getting from downtown Nashville all the way. What's the distance? The distance is immense. Bring it up here on Google Maps.
Mr. Philip Hughes, good to see you, sir. Welcome.
And from it's 30 miles. 30 miles. There's a long think about that for a moment. Long way from point A to point B.
Gotcha, Twiz. I gotcha. We'll have to talk, bud. We'll have to talk.
I'm curious for this basic shutdown.
Oh, you're okay. You're okay, Foxy. I understood what you meant.
We're more hopeful that they were going to find a sign of Riley.
And welcome, by the way. It's great to see you here.
Any other item or a garment of clothing or anything else that might have washed up that at least tells them that Riley.
Absolutely, Lou. I've done many lake drags and things like that. When I worked with the fire department, we did a lot of training on that stuff, and it does make a huge difference if the flow of the river, how fast or slow it's going. Many a times I've done that, and you'd be surprised what the undertow, the drag does. Huge difference. It makes a big difference, folks. It'll pull things you wouldn't think it'll pull.
Shauna says, hey, JB, there's been a lot of us who live here in Cheatham County that have been out on foot and in boats searching for a couple of days, sending so much love and prayers to Riley and his family. That's
Oh, Teresa, don't worry about that. It's no big deal, dear. Sometimes I've had people that have tried to send those and couldn't, so they send cash apps or something like that because their banking doesn't allow for that sometimes. So it doesn't matter, though. I'm just grateful that you're here, Teresa. So don't worry about it, dear.
We're just trying to help. I mean, that's extraordinary. Yeah, we just want to help this family and provide them with.
I did hear that, Cat Lady. I did hear that from somebody else. That's understandable, Teresa. Like I said, some people's banks don't allow them to go with the super chat thing, so they've in turn done it with the Cash App or PayPal thing. So it's up to whatever you're comfortable with or not comfortable with. And either way, it's perfectly fine. I'm just grateful that you're here. Welcome, Angel of Virtue. Good to see you today. I appreciate you guys all being here. Anything's possible, Bonnie, in that sense, too. Could be an Uber. Sorry, Carol.
Emily's here with us in the comment section. Hey, Emily. Hope you're good. It is a volunteer state for a reason. Glad to see your coverage. Yeah. Emily, good to see you in the comment section. Yeah, look, a couple of people, including you, Emily, and just some phenomenal people. And so I know that people are doing everything that they can to help. But this is a story where, my goodness, you just hope that we get answers sooner rather than later. The more that this drags on, the more that this is just an incredible heartache for this family and for all of his friends. And think too, I mean, my goodness, there's also all the fraternity brothers that went with Riley on this trip for this convention in Nashville, and
just thinking about all the people the story affects.
Yes, Kiko.
Deborah.
Are these boats
Searching using
I think they started at noon.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find out exactly, look, how much sonar is there? Will there be a grid search? How strategic will sonar be? Or will the sonar search be? Because sonar is a tool, but without the right strategy, and I know because I've talked to rescue officials in the past, you have to deploy sonar with a strategy in mind and doing it and making sure that you are, and that becomes exponentially harder, by the way, at night.
I agree, Lou.
Is low, and just making sure that these teams are communicating. But how many teams are there? How many?
I can agree with that too, Keek.
Water tonight. How much ground can they cover per hour? These are major questions because again, the river's massive. It's big.
Hello.
And
And
so
so
you have a couple of obvious starting points, really starting where near the location of the discovery of the bank card, but it's been 12 days.
I'm going to be doing a whole thing about Delphi soon here, Teresa. Very soon. It's going to be the whole kit and caboodle. So we will be covering that for sure, Teresa.
Video from the dam to show everybody. We were talking about the burping technique. And here you can see some crews at the top of the dam. This is from WKRN, our sister station in Nashville. And they tilt down.
Looking like a shark dresser. That's a good
It's hard to
song.
see just how shallow things are here, but you would imagine
Thank you.
that's shallow enough to get all of that debris within
so that you can actually see it all.
I'm working on that, Teresa. Actually, that's my whole point. I'd love to bring him on to give his point of view on it and all that kind of stuff. So absolutely.
No results.
Thank you, Cammy. Appreciate that very much. No, Kim, actually, I did that when I went off camera and fixed it, tied it, and gave it back to him. He put it on. He's working on it. He's learning little by little. It took me a long time to be able to tie those knots. They're a pain in the butt. At least we're not using clip-ons anymore, Where's the rest of the law enforcement body camera dash cam? Why no timestamp? This is a case of the missing isn't missing, but doesn't want to be found by the people looking for him. I mean, it's possible, CL. It's very possible. That's weird, though.
30 miles of river.
Yes, Riley did have a girlfriend, Annie.
Human remains would have traveled from the river in Nashville all the way up to Ashland City, an hour drive.
I'm feeling that they're going to find something today. Saxophone, Kim. He plays both the tenor and the alto sax.
Was it a needle in a haystack? Was it a Hail Mary? Only officials could say. And really, because we don't have that access with law enforcement, there has been that press conference, that mass press conference where he asked. I know there's been some availability, but it has been consistent as some other story we cover in missing persons cases when you're getting multiple updates, multiple occurrences, I should say, rather, per week. Nashville police, they've done a really good job of updating their Twitter account. Yeah. And the public at large just ask a follow-up question, get a better idea as to what the search is like. Isha says, having worked search and recovery before, it generally takes 2 to 3 days for remains in water to come to the surface to defend.
And this is what's going on with Riley right now. We did talk about some decent things in regards to Sebastian's case. We're probably going to do that again as more things arise. So thank you guys for joining me today for this. I do appreciate you very, very much. My luck is what's going to happen is once I shut down and walk off, maybe they'll find something. I hope that if this is where they think he is, I hope they find him soon for his family's sake. I really wish this would not be what the outcome is, but I have a bad feeling. It's very possible, Debbie. It's very possible. You think they will continue the search in the water tonight with floodlights? It is very possible, depending on what the weather is out. Sure. I think at this point they just want to find him. What did Teresa reference? Yes, it reminds me of the Happy Face killer situation that I covered last year. It's pretty crazy. Oh no, I'm pretty good with the tie, tomboy. Pretty good with it. Yeah, that's a good point there, Twiz. If there's a bullet hole or a stab, are we going to call it a drowning? I hope not. I hope they're honest about everything. That's all I can say. No FOMO. Oh, I got you, Annie. No worries. Yes, Evie, prayers for Riley's family, prayers for Sebastian. Everybody but you guys, please, if you will, keep Sebastian, his family, all of it in your thoughts and prayers, as well as Riley and their family. His family, I'm sorry. Keep them all in your thoughts and prayers, please. You might see me here tonight, guys. I can't promise or guarantee, but you might. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. If I don't see you, guys, don't forget to love yourselves and to love each other, please. And please don't change a thing about yourselves, folks, because you guys very much are the beautiful people, guys. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, guys. And I will see you all so very soon, guys. Take care. Bye-bye. God bless.